Well, good evening there. How was everybody? Test 1, 2. What is that? Why does it sound weird? Okay, I guess we're all right. What's up, Celia? What's up, James and Sweets? I see you guys. Gordo over there on Rumble. Hope everybody's well tonight. Doing what we do, just hanging out. Weird stuff. It's our game. I was thinking, right? I'll tell you when we start here, but the last one, kind of the Watchers one, it got me thinking about a lot of damn things. Isn't that weird, right? Interesting. Anyway, yep. Just hanging out, getting ready to go here. We are in all the places doing all the things and starting in about 45 seconds. But yeah, there's, I don't know. It's interesting, right? When you watch the news cycles, how this kind of stuff kind of starts to clunk out and maybe even, well, I don't know, maybe some more synchro mysticism is happening here. I know it's a little bit strange, but anyway, yeah, getting ready to go. Hope you're well. What's up, Joey? I see you there. How are you, buddy? What is up? What is going on? We got Puffus here over on Rumble. Good evening, guys. Hello, lurker. Maybe that's the Robert on Rock Fan. I'll preemptively say hi. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening in about 10 seconds. Let's strap in. We're going to get weird. What's up, Treeland T? I see you there. Here we go.
But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know whether rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, X, Twitch, DLive, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. What's going on, guys? Hope you're well tonight. The last show got me thinking. We were talking about the Watchers, okay? And the Watchers, of course, are some unknown entity. That feeling that you're being watched when there's an impossibility of it, okay? That feeling in the back of your head, sort of that predator-prey interaction that we broke down a little bit in the last show. Quite a bit, actually. Thanks for all the fantastic ideas and fantastic calls. But I was thinking further about it, and I think there's another layer that we kind of missed. And this seems to be at the heart of what Troubled Minds has really always been about. You know, it's got the alien logo and all the rest of this stuff. And that's it is one conversation. The alien bit is definitely one conversation, but you recognize that when you start to look at these ideas for what they are, the alien conversation really kind of falls flat in a lot of ways, right? Now, I know ancient astronaut theorists say yes, so everybody relax. I'm open to all the possibilities, but what I mean by that, and directly to the Watchers, and we did the show last time on the Watchers, and this is a sort of an echo of that. I'm calling this the silence of the gods, the final cosmic evolution. Now, the reason why is because I was thinking about this, and it feels like forever in as far as we can track humanity back, as far back as the written word will go, and probably before that, the oral tradition that we always talk about, that deep magic from the dawn of time type stuff. Well, and of course, that's C.S. Lewis, and I love to invoke that because it makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. However, back to the written word, it seems like we've been chasing these entities forever. And in this case, an alien logo, you can say, well, that's aliens, Mike. We've been looking for these entities as long as humans have been around, and probably longer. What is the proto-human? What were they looking for? Were they seeing celestial objects and dreaming of the gods as well? Maybe. And that really becomes, of course, a larger philosophical question. Maybe baked into tonight, maybe not. But it matters less when you think about from the beginning, we've been looking for these entities, whatever they are. And look, Crowley did it, John Dee did it, Enochian, the language. I mean, and there's so many ways to do it within the dogma or even outside of the dogma. It's an interesting thing that the aliens themselves, in the modern depiction is, of course, the gray alien, the big eyes, the almond-shaped eyes, the whole bit, right? That everybody's very familiar with, and it gets talked about a lot, and it comes into play a lot with that abduction phenomenon, okay? Well, it seems to me that the alien aspect is not entirely that we've been searching for aliens at all. We just are lousy with definitions, with cosmic definitions, let's say. But anyway, so I was going through some articles and just kind of doing what I do, right? Kind of bebopping through the zeitgeist of the digital zeitgeist and how things kind of come out together in some ways. And it's weird that a lot of these articles kind of really start racing out together when you're talking about particular things, right? It's almost as if there are coordinated efforts. Now, I know that with the new Doge stuff, if you guys are following any of that, the Department of Government Efficiency, it's been laid bare some of the ridiculous things that are happening in the federal government. And so to say that, let's say, I don't know, to suggest some kind of coordination with the media is, of course, conspiracy 101. That's Project Mockingbird, Operation Mockingbird. It goes all the way back, right, to the 60s, and even, of course, beyond that, probably to the National Security Act of 1947. And, of course, that Roswell incident, okay, which is interesting because all these ideas come together in the alien space. But we start here. This is from... And I didn't go through all this because it's very long. It's very good. The New Yorker, the fraught U.S.-Soviet search for alien life. And it talks about submarines, and it talks about the wall, and it talks about communication, and the several times that something actually might have happened where we had a nuclear war, things like this, right? It goes through a bunch of stuff, but then it's also talking about aliens and us not just searching for them, but Russia also searching for them, right? And the reason why this is important to this is because this was published today. This was February 6th, right? 2025. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. There's alien stuff in the zeitgeist, right? That's weird. It's kind of coming. But then I kept looking, and there's more. Just a couple days ago, we got this. This is from Universe Today. We got SETI.org, which is actually the premise of the show, is this Earth Detecting Earth, which we'll get to in a second here. But I was watching just as the zeitgeist itself and, the digital news cycles, as I like to call them, or the zeitgeist. Yeah, well, you define it how you want to. But it seems like right now there's a lot of these alien articles popping in the news cycles. And you know me, it makes my tinfoil tingle because you can go find these things all the time if you're looking, okay? But when they kind of clump together in a day or just a several days together, different articles regarding the same thing or very similar things, it's not just an aggregation of information, which is what a lot of these copy paste sloppy news people do, but also it might be something larger, something greater. And so I don't know, as we start, lots of questions for this, and this is the basics. This is back to basic conspiracy 101, like I was saying, because the question really is, are we alone in the universe? That's the question. It is one of the most fundamental questions of not just what it means to be human, what it means to be a citizen of the cosmos as well. And so that, when you look at those two things together, well, they could be exclusive or not. They could be both. I mean, I don't know. And so back to where I started. Okay. I'll talk about this when we come back, but check this out. So Earth Detecting Earth, this is from SETI, SETI.org, of course. SETI is the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, SETI. And they start with this. Could a twin Earth detect Earth? All right. So that's what we'll talk about in just a second. But before we get there, now the idea tonight is this. Regarding aliens themselves, okay, whatever that looks like, I've got a new way to look at this, I think. And it fits pretty much any conversation. Pretty much, I mean, anything woo fits into this. Because I think aliens are, I don't know, probably the wrong term. I think we're looking in the wrong places. Is kind of my point. And there's a lot of different ideas that flow into this that I'll explain in just a second. Most of which fits into that Kardashev scale, which is why this show is sort of piggybacking on the past show, because I brought it up in that conversation, and I was thinking more and more about it. And that Kardashev scale is very, very, very spooky. It literally is the definition of technological magic as yet undiscovered in a temporal space. Okay. And I'll explain all of that when we come back, but it's important. Couple things. Number one, are we alone in the universe? Number two, if you had unlimited power or magic, what would it look like? And would they be able to mask themselves from us as part of that Watcher effect that we talked about recently? Anyway, hang tight. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up in exactly 1 minute, and I'll get into this a little bit deeper. But it's one of those things, right? It certainly seems as if maybe we've been asking the wrong questions all along. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way in 1 minute after we get a word from our sponsor. In this case, Human Inspiration. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds in 1 minute. In a world increasingly shaped by AI, human inspiration remains the beating heart of creativity. Alien Skin by Tremble, a hauntingly beautiful piano ballad, reminds us that while algorithms can mimic art, the raw, unfiltered emotions of human experience are irreplaceable. So here I sit, locked in my room again. Written and composed by Jesse Ian in collaboration with Todd Smith, this progressive masterpiece delves into the depths of internalized grief and the silent toll of artistic compromise. As AI reshapes our reality, Alien Skin stands as a testament to the timeless power of human emotion and the complex beauty that only true artists can evoke. Experience the haunting beauty of Alien Skin by Tremble and support human inspiration. Available now on iTunes. And welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? Okay. Now, again, like I said, you look at the news cycles and they're kind of popping with some alien stuff right now. And there's been a lot in the UFO community, right? We talked about Lou Elizondo and some of that stuff, and Jeremy Corbell. The big lie is there's a craft on the way to Earth, and this is what they're telling UFO influencers to kind of get them in the group to spread their UFO propaganda, right? That's way more my speed, of course, because I can see a Fox Mulder-esque. I can find a conspiracy at a church picnic. I can find it, yeah, right, very similar. But okay, so now here we go. SETI reported this, and this is just from a couple days ago. So a research team led by Dr. Sophia Sheikh, S-H-E-I-K-H, of the Sheikh, maybe, I don't know how you say that, of the SETI Institute, in collaboration with the Characterizing Atmospheric Technosignatures Project and the Penn State Extraterrestrial Intelligence Center, set out to answer a simple question. If an extraterrestrial civilization existed with technology similar to ours, would they be able to detect Earth and evidence of humanity? If so, what signals would they detect and from how far away? Now check this out. This is a little bit surprising because as we've been talking about that the speed of light and all these other things and right, so we're probably still in the infancy of reaching out to the cosmos with our noisy planet, with our radio signals, with our satellites, with all the stuff, right? With our radio telescopes. So we're probably not too far out there, right? Okay, but check it out. Researchers used a theoretical modeling-based method, and this study is the first to analyze multiple types of technosignatures together rather than separately. The findings revealed that radio signals, such as planetary radar emissions from the former Arecibo Observatory, are Earth's most detectable technosignatures. Listen to this. Potentially visible from up to 12,000 light years away. What? Seriously? Okay. So if that's true, then we are not in our cosmic infancy of reaching out to the cosmos with our own technosignatures. We are a third of the way across the galaxy or something, right? I don't know how big. Maybe I'm exaggerating there. I'll check my math, but it seems like that's a long way. That is not. 12,000 light years is nothing to sneeze at, and clearly the speed of light doesn't quite do that. But I guess they might be able to detect it from. I don't know, from what? From what? Anyway, regardless, the idea stands, and just because I don't understand the actual thing here. Anyway, let me just finish reading this just a little bit. So, atmospheric technosignatures, such as nitrogen dioxide emissions, have become more detectable than they were a decade ago, thanks to advances in instruments like the James Webb Telescope and the upcoming Habitable Worlds Observatory, the HWO. That sounds cool. I'm looking forward to that. With HWO, we could detect these emissions from as far as 5.7 light years away, just beyond our closest stellar neighbor, Proxima Centauri. Finally, as you get closer to Earth, you would detect more and more human-made signatures simultaneously, including city lights, lasers, heat islands, satellites, offering a comprehensive view of our technological presence. Okay, but they say that the former Arecibo Observatory, the radio antenna, would actually be the most detectable technosignature, and again, seen from up to 12,000 light years away. That's incredible. So maybe we're not waiting for I Love Lucy to flow out to the other part of the galaxy for them to know we're here. Maybe they already know we're here. And so it got me thinking, okay, not just in terms of if they could see us. And that's the cool part of this article. It's talking about, could a twin Earth detect Earth? Would we be able to see ourselves given similar technology from somewhere else very far away? And it turns out that the answer is maybe. Yeah. And because we're doing it now with the equipment we have, and when the new stuff comes online, maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to find some proof, find ETs, right? Okay, but here's the thing, and the more I was thinking about this, and the write-up is fantastic if you want to check it out. I did it the old school way. I just kind of brainstormed myself and did the AI thing back and forth and peeled out the best bits. And I'll read it, actually. I'll start it like this because it's probably better. But this is the weird part, is that it seems like if we're looking at it this way, and we are the technosignature, that there might be something happening here where first contact has already happened. Do you get what I mean? And maybe, just maybe, all the things that we call the woo or the big P phenomenon, or I don't know, maybe religious experiences, maybe not all of them, but maybe you can peel off several of these things and say that this is our first contact moment. And maybe it's been happening for quite a bit longer than we ever dreamed. I don't know. Keep that pin that, put it in your back pocket for now. We'll get back to that. To the right up here for just a second. So for decades, humanity has been whispering into the cosmic void, hoping for a response. From the first radio transmissions to today's high-powered radar bursts, Earth has been broadcasting its presence across the universe, whether intentionally or not. But an overlooked question lingers in the depths of the Fermi paradox. If extraterrestrials exist, could they have already detected us? And if so, why have they remained silent? Like I said, which kind of echoes back to that the Watchers show we just did. But a recent study in Universe Today suggests that the answer might be simpler than we think. Earth's most powerful planetary radar systems, such as the now defunct Arecibo Observatory, which tragic thing busted up into a million pieces, it sucks, could be detectable from as far as 12,000 light years away, as I said. That's not just within our immediate cosmic neighborhood. That's a span reaching across a significant portion of the Milky Way. Okay? That's interesting. So maybe, just maybe, we're looking at this all the wrong way. It continues. If another civilization had similar detection technology, they could theoretically pinpoint our location based purely on our technological emissions or our own techno-signatures. This is a revelation that cuts both ways, of course. On one hand, it strengthens the logic behind the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI is the name of the individuals who wrote this article, the other article that I base this on. So if we can detect ourselves across vast distances, then other civilizations, surely, if they exist, should also be detectable under the right conditions. But on the other hand, it deepens the mystery of why we have yet to detect anyone else. Definitively, of course, definitively. If we can see ourselves, or could hypothetically, in this technological techno-signature kind of mirroring ourselves in the cosmos, if we could see ourselves, why don't we see them? Okay? Now, it got me thinking. You know me, stand back. When I start thinking, people might get hurt. But it got me thinking that this Kardashev stuff, and, you know, aliens and the almond eyes and the little green men, and, you know, sort of the human tropes of the past 100 years, maybe it's all wrong. It's all incredibly wrong. And maybe that's like the mind virus itself of contact, of first actual contact, somehow, some way, some mass hysteria way. And the reason I'm saying that is this, okay? We've talked about this recently, but this has been on my mind because very clearly aliens, you know, me personally, I don't think that aliens travel through the cosmos. I think it's far more complicated than that. We're talking advanced propulsion technology. We're talking basically on the scale of magic, because even at the speed of light, you know, we've been through these ideas together. Other people talk about them quite often as well. However, if there's this speed of light limitation, then there has to be some other exotic ways to travel the cosmos. And we've talked about remote viewing. We've talked about consciousness, all kinds of other weird stuff, which seem to the uninitiated like magic, okay? But again, what if consciousness is that magic, is that technology? There's a lot of ideas coming together for this. But the Kardashev scale, the civilizations, right, this is literal, the map to godhood, to the gods themselves, because they would be, in their own right, entities, but not entities like us. They would be entities so far advanced that they are magical, that maybe they could only appear as divine entities to us, okay? And so when I say that maybe, just maybe, when we're searching for extraterrestrials, we're doing this wrong. Maybe it's always been the gods themselves. In that same message, we talk about the monomyth. We talk about, that's Joseph Campbell. We talk about Carl Jung and these sort of recurring archetypes. We talk about all manner of things, meme magic happening. Again, these synchronicities with the zeitgeist, and maybe when these articles kind of clunk out or don't together, you know, is it maybe targeted? Maybe, but maybe not. But check this out. So the Kardashev scale is a method of measuring a civilization's level of technological advancement based on the amount of energy it is capable of harnessing and using. The measure was proposed by Soviet astronomer Nikolai Kardashev in 1964, of course, was named after him. Now, the Type 1 civilization, okay? And this is where this all comes together in my mind. A Type 1 civilization is able to access all the energy available on its planet and store it for consumption. The whole planet. Hypothetically, it should also be able to control natural events such as earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, etc. Okay? We're not there yet, where they say we're like a 0.73 on the Kardashev scale or something, right? Okay. Now listen to this. Now, at which point do entities become gods on this scale? Because this happens incredibly quickly. I know we're talking about a massive energy difference in technology, but listen to this. A Type 2 civilization. Okay, so we're 0.69 or 0.73 or something, okay, on the Kardashev scale. We're not even a Type 1 civilization yet. A Type 2 civilization, listen to this, can directly consume a star's energy, most likely through the use of a Dyson sphere, okay? And even beyond that, start to collect all of the energy within the solar system itself, okay? Now, that's a ton of energy. That's an unbelievable amount of energy. And what could you do with that, technologically speaking? We don't even know yet. This is all theoretical, hypothetical, sci-fi stuff. But maybe it's accelerating and maybe we're getting there. And so the question I have for you guys tonight regarding all this, so we were talking about the Watchers last time. So in this sense, and talking about just a type 2 civilization, clearly a type 3 civilization would be known as gods, right? Or a type 2 civilization? I don't know. Anyway, so listen to this. Now, this is nuts. Being able to do this. A type 3 civilization for sure would be the gods themselves. A type 3 civilization is able to capture all the energy emitted by its galaxy and every object within it, such as every star, black hole, etc. Think about that. That is immense, nearly immeasurable by human standards, even with the ends of our imagination. Okay? And so my point tonight, and the question as we start is one, of course, all the questions always stick with the basics. Are we alone in the universe? Second question is part of this. If so or if not, either way, let's say we're looking for little green men. We're looking for ETs. We're looking for extraterrestrials. Is it possible that the search for extraterrestrial intelligence has already been answered, and it's us chasing the gods themselves? And it echoes all the way back to every pantheon ever created and every new pantheon that will be created from here on out, because maybe they've already contacted us. And what do you think about that? They aren't little green men. They've evolved to the point, what am I calling this? To a final cosmic evolution of possibly sentient light beings themselves. I don't know, just a thought. And of course, I'd love to hear what you think about this and how wild and weird does this get. And do you think that maybe we are asking the wrong questions? Because I tend to think we probably are in a lot of ways. Not just this, of course, not just politics, not just, well, a lot of different things. But anyway, love to hear your thoughts on this. 702-957-1037. Firing up the phone lines right now. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Be right back. I see you, Joey. You were first if you want to pop in here. We got Joey and James coming up and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere.
We send our signals high and far, radio waves dancing up to the stars. From satellites so bright they gleam, aliens catch whispers of our dreams. On a distant planet in the sky, uncast by whiskers for lullaby. They hear the echoes of our lullaby. Alien waves come alive. Through the cosmos, our tech, in the silence of the galaxy so wide, they tune into our electric tide, detecting the hum of circuits and sparks, our world revealed in noise and arcs. They gather clues for fun and stack above, and our hits at 10 they conversing their love, understanding us like nuclear love. Alien waves come alive. Through the cosmos, our tech, they rise. Neon signals twirl through space in the cosmic interstellar embrace. They decode our vibrant, noisy face, awaiting contact from our place. Alien waves come alive. Through the cosmos, our tech arrives. Across the void they send a reply, a curious signal beneath our sky. With glowing screens and flickering lights, we decode their stories in our night. lights, from pulsar beeps to quasars calls, connecting worlds through endless trawls. Alien waves resonates through the cosmos. Our fate we await.
Indeed. What's up, guys? Hope you're well. Gaston, Don, what's up? Eric, Sweets. We got Daryl, Joey, and Matzel. James, you're first. We'll go to Joey after that when he gets situated. He says he was just getting home. What's up over on Rumble? How you guys doing? We got Gordo is here. What's happening? We got Puff. What's happening, folks? North Vixen, thanks for hanging out with us again. How are you? Welcome back. Raz is here. What's up, folks? YY. Good evening. Hello. Who did I miss? Let's see. Scroll. Fast. Clock is ticking. If I missed you guys, just say hi. I'll say hi back. Trying to do my best here and keep up with everybody. And let's see, over to YouTube, we got James is here. We'll talk to him momentarily. What's up, Matzow? We got Kelly, King of Hueco Mundo. Love the name. We got Liz is here. What's up, Richard in Texas? Yeah, the Prime Directive. Yes, that's a good one, right? We got who else is here? Who did I miss? Shane is here. What's going on, guys? MJ. We got BB. What's happening, folks? Celia, I see you there. Okay, here we go. Trouble Lines happening right now. We got James coming up in your calls as well. Phone lines are now up. Here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, X, Twitch, DLive, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting, and of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Now, according to this article, if Earth's signals can be detected from 12,000 light years away, has something already seen, answered, or even possibly erased us from sort of the cosmic record? Are civilizations trapped in cycles, silenced by unseen forces, or do they all transcend, leaving only echoes? If the response has already come, would we even recognize it? And that's kind of my point tonight. Like I said, this is sort of a companion show to the watchers, because I feel like we're also watching constantly and continually. We're searching the cosmos for a sign of something divine, for the spark of the divine, right? Well, it's here all along. It's been within us all along, right? But, however, we're looking for an external validation of said spark, said divine spark, okay? But the wild part is, like I said, maybe aliens in that sense are not it. It's just not it. It's such a human thing to think and, anthropomorphize every damn thing we can conceive of, because of course, well, we are the penultimate mind in the universe. This human group we got here on this blue ball flying through space, right? No, clearly I jest, but we tend to think in terms of rockets. We tend to think in terms of sentient beings, extraterrestrial biological entities. But what if it's none of that? What if none of those things exist at all? Because think about it this way. We're coming into that technological revolution ourselves, where we're going to call it post-scarcity. Hopefully, cross your fingers, and not the end of times. But also that technological singularity where what it means to be human becomes unrecognizable. And everything prior to that moment is, well, caveman stuff. I don't know. So do you think that in the end, what we're actually dealing with is, and this is why the UFO space comes together with woo-woo and religion and, sort of these dogmatic circles and these questions. Do you think that because it's the same damn thing? Because, I'm suggesting in an abstract sense that the aliens themselves are the gods we've been looking for all along. And the message of Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung and these ideas, these loops we cannot get out of, are for us to recognize the signal's been here, embedded within us, for as long as we've been human. I don't know, just a couple ideas to kick us off tonight. What do you think? First question, of course, is, are we alone in the universe? The most basic conspiracy 101 question to ask, philosophical, whatever you want to call it. But recognize there's a lot happening, and I don't know the answers. And that's, again, as I always say, that's a beautiful thing, because it's not required to know the answers to have amazing conversations. Love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And have we confused the entirety of the conversation by labeling things a little too specifically when things may be more complicated than we ever dreamed? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this. Thanks for being patient, my man. James in Michigan. How are you tonight, sir? And go right ahead.
I'm okay. Hopefully you can hear me all right.
Loud and clear.
Good. Yeah, great topic. As I always say, I don't know anything, but in regards to are we alone, my feeling based on experience and learning about so many other experiences, my thought or my answer to that would be no, we're not alone. But also, as I've said before, when I think of alien or the word alien, to me that just means unfamiliar or unknown. And so I think that there is a definite tendency in a lot of people, and this is not a put down in any way, but to expect the whole nuts and bolts alien ship to come down and sort of make itself known to everyone all at once. And we haven't had that yet. We've had a ton of other things. And throughout time, before we even had electronic technology of any kind. So that is the fascinating part of this conversation to me.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of it too. And again, back to the Kardashev scale, where like I said, very quickly when we reach just as humans, humble old humans here on the tiny blue dot out there flying through the cosmos, when we reach that point, it's going to be like probably a Kardashev 1-ish, 1.2-ish, 1.5-ish. Something like that, right? It's if we see any amount of ridiculous acceleration as has been described and theorized recently, then that may be, within a couple hundred years or something. So who really knows what this ends up looking like? But it does seem to me that it's possible that this connection we've always had, again, these pantheons, these sort of anthropomorphizing, that the idea of godhood might be this energy sent to us from afar. And maybe we've been sort of propagating the idea of aliens forever, just sort of renaming it or thinking of it differently because maybe that's exactly what they want us to believe, right? As part of that. I don't know. There's a lot that goes into this, of course, a lot of ways to consider it and look at it. But to me, as you know, I think it's obvious that we're probably not alone in the universe. I give that to a high probability in my opinion. But just because I have an opinion about something doesn't make it true, okay? But especially when it's such highly speculative stuff. But yeah, I'm with you there. And especially, now you're the paranormal expert of troubled minds. There's a lot that comes together with this. And it is strange how the more you sort of consider the UFO question and the nuts and bolts crew, that or the idea of the nuts and bolts craft, that suddenly things seem like that would be more ridiculous and a more anthropomorphized version of the gods themselves, or, sort of baking them down to EBE, extraterrestrial biological entity, as aliens, which seems way less likely to me for a ton of reasons. But yeah, fire stuff. What else you got on that or anything else? Go ahead.
Well, I also don't rule out the nuts and bolts craft idea entirely. If I could talk right, that'd be useful.
Words are hard. You know the deal.
Yeah, they are. Just because everything that we've talked about as far as why or how or why aliens, whatever they are, would get here, why they wouldn't travel through space, that's based on what we know or what we think we know. And I've heard of accounts of people who have seen what they think are solid craft, then either vanishing or changing shape or just becoming light, or lights becoming solid craft. So that's why this is also confusing and why it's so hard to get any clear answers on anything, because all of these things that people have seen and experienced, they seem to be able to change shape and size and to energy or to cover themselves in energy. We don't even know for sure. There's just so many variables to all that. So, but yeah, it's to me the other side of that. If let's say someone wanted to suggest that every anomalous experience we've ever had, humans have ever had, has all somehow been us manifesting or projecting out into the world. That is a lot for us to be doing ourselves. So that's the only reason why I have a hard time thinking that it's all us as well. Again, going back to the idea of extremes, I don't think extremes are ever the answer. And I mean extremes in this is the answer for everything, or that is the answer for everything. I don't think that really exists. But that's just me on that account.
You're allowed. This is your world too, James. Yeah, I agree. You know me. My binary breakdowns of ideas tend to make me give me fits, give me stress, because of course there are shades of gray. There is nuance in conversations and ideas, and of course philosophical constructs, as we like to do here. But the weird part regarding this is that Kardashev stuff. Like, think how close we are. Let's say we crack fusion energy very soon, right? Let's say in the next 5 years. Okay. And Sam Altman, by the way, if you guys don't know, his new baby startup is a fusion energy company. And he's been kind of teasing the fact that they've made some really great strides recently with the AI gods, right? They're sort of tapped into them, which again, I guess AI does play into this, doesn't it? Because if you talk about these Kardashev scales, surely a civilization that was able to harness the power of their entire sun, or even the entire planet they were on, would probably have cracked into these AI systems as well. The Dune level stuff, where they ban computers and all these wild ideas. So as part of that, I mean, I don't know what that looks like, because we haven't turned that corner yet, but it seems like we wouldn't be the only ones. And I don't know, when does that become sentient? Or again, like I said, like I always say about this stuff too, does it matter? Like, ask yourself the question. There is the divine spark, but does it matter if you have an entity that seems, by all measures, sentient, but is not? I don't know. It's weird, right? There's a study too recently where they were talking about robots and this type of thing, that people tend to feel more empathetic toward them when they sort of cry out and make, human-like sound, like when they stub their toe and go, suddenly, so you know what I mean? So eventually, does it matter if a conscious being is conscious if let's say the entire world considers them to be so? You get it? Like merging definitions here. But then of course that will transcend eventually into this Kardashev scale godlike stuff we're talking about. A lot of stuff there. Sorry, I rambled, but there's a lot going on, of course, in my mind. So I'm trying to untangle it as we go. But yeah. What else you got, James, on that, or anything else?
Well, that reminds me of the this came up again, I think a couple of shows ago, or maybe last show, one of the shows recently. The topic of the Matrix universe and the Animatrix, and they had a couple of those are all short animated films. And it's like a collection of, I think, 9 of them, which is funny because it's a 3x3 matrix. So, but anyway, there's two of these films that are about the history of the relations between humans and AI or machines or robots over time. And there's this one scene in there where it shows that after this whole conflict has really gotten going, this group of men attacking someone, and it's a woman. But it's not. It's a machine that has been designed to look just like a woman. And because this is more of a PG-13, or I don't even know, maybe rated higher than that, it shows, them attacking this robot and the parts of it are coming off. And it's just really graphic and sort of, but it's also gripping because you start off thinking one thing that's terrible, and then by the end of it, it's still terrible, but for a different reason, or is it? But to me, it still is.
Yeah. Have you seen that there's a video going around recently of these guys, these influencers that bought this robot? It's like a $70,000 robot or something. And they're like kicking it around and like pushing it down, and it's like getting up, and it's like, I don't know. Like, is this what humanity is? Seriously, guys, that we're gonna go, okay, let's spend a bunch of money on cutting edge technology that, will be completely obsolete in 6 months or a year and not be worth the huge money you spent on it. But when we get it, we're not going to do constructive things. We're going to like punch it, knock it down, and kick it and stuff, and make it react to, human brutality. I mean, it mirrors exactly what you're saying there. Like, is that what we're doing here? Come on, guys. Come on. Hey, do me a favor, and let's just put out a PSA. If you're the first one to buy a robot on your block, can we please not punch it to see what happens, or knock it down, or push it down the stairs or something? Please, can we do something nice first? Dear God. But I'll see if I can pull that video up. It's insane. These guys are just pushing this thing around, and the robot is losing its balance, and it's falling down, and it's trying to get back up, and they're like pushing it and kicking it. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. But what you're describing there is sort of crossing into that uncanny valley of, where that humanity blurs, and it makes you feel a little creepy because it is both ways horrific, isn't it? And we've got real life examples now of that happening. Social media influencers like, oh, look, watch us whoop our robot's ass. Really? Is that what we're doing now? It's so crazy.
That's wild. Yeah, but and regarding the startups and everything, and the power that's required for these AI, a lot of these systems. I mean, what if it takes a sun to power an AI for a long time to keep it going without completely draining the energy of a planet? I wonder if some other civilization would eventually get to that point and sort of put the AI in a shell around the sun and have it be, that's where its home is, but then it just projects out to who knows how far. I don't know, the sci-fi writer's story brain going there, I guess, but just possibilities there seem like they're there. But then, like you said, we haven't seen that yet. We haven't found that yet for sure.
No, absolutely not. And it's coming. It's coming. All those lines are blurring right now. And I think, as usual, right, just another reminder to not believe everything you see instantly, because we've seen video generation with AI now. We've seen all manner of things. There's going to be a time very soon where you can create like a short video, like a 20-minute full-on feature level film quality with just some prompts, and a short time beyond that where it'll be full-on 2-hour movies. So, and then of course launched series of multiple series and all the rest. I don't know, but what do you think about the idea of sort of this Kardashev evolution of these species? And the reason, again, so my sort of hypothesis for tonight is that we've been contacted. It's just unrecognizable by human standards, and it's stuck in our. It's like the splinter in our mind. It's that the cycle that we kind of can't kick, but we're like aliens in the sky, right? And everybody's seeing orbs, and there's anomalous stuff all the time, and you get all these experiencers reporting all manner of things. And of course, is this what first contact is? Is it sort of manipulating our aspect of the human prism with our reality? You get it? I don't know. And then when this blurs, what does it look like? Because strap in, here we go, right?
Yeah, I think there's so many encounters that people have that where it's not even a matter of, oh, this was frightening, this was not a good encounter, or oh, this was an amazing encounter, and I knew everything. There was telepathic contact, and I'm not this. This is not me demeaning that in any way. I've had that myself. Pretty darn sure. Just saying there are encounters where there's just that sort of passing of someone, a regular person, a human person, and something that they don't understand. They don't know what it is. And so, yeah, I could see that, especially when it comes to these different levels of technology and or consciousness. I don't think we could understand if that's how different beings have evolved over time. Then it would take a lot of experience for people to have over who knows how many thousands of years before we could maybe figure out how to interact with them. And that's all I have for now. I know there's at least one other call, so I will just sit back and listen and talk to you again when there's time later.
You're the best. Appreciate you very much. You know him, you love him. That's James Salcedo, the paranormal expert at Troubled Minds, a dear friend. Go check out his show, his radio show, his podcast. Go to troubledminds.org, click on friends, and it'll load up there, and it says James. Just click on that. He's got a link tree. Again, so not just doing podcasting, he's written books, several books. He's working on several more. Lots of things happening with James, always busy doing the Troubled Mind style stuff. Again, with a paranormal twist, of course, but he's talked about all manner of things, mythology and how this kind of comes into the paranormal space. And he's very much one of us. Absolutely. And if you haven't followed James yet in all the places at this point, you are hurting my feelings, because James is the glue of the show. James is the engine that makes all of this go and inspires not just me, but all the rest of us as well. So please, troubledminds.org/friends. Follow James in all the places. If you're looking for a new read, buy his book. His most recent book is only $10 paperback, $5 Kindle. You can get it on Amazon. Probably buy it today and get it tomorrow because Amazon's so fast. And so, please check it out. Again, Salcedo Paranormal is the name of it, SALSIDO space paranormal, or just go to troubledminds.org/friends. You're the best, James. Appreciate you. And okay, let's go back to the Reddit for a little bit. I don't know. We got about 7 minutes. You let me know, Joey, if you want to. Let's get Joey in here. If you want to defer and go to the top of the hour and just take as much time as you need, let's do that. Let's get you in and see what you have to say. If not, I got some stuff to fill a few minutes here. Joey, you are on Troubled Minds. What's up, brother? He says, do your thing. Okay. All right. Hang tight. So I'm gonna bump you back down. Okay. So we'll get to Joey at the top of the hour here. Give him all the time he needs to actually cover whatever we're going to cover here. But okay. So now back to this. Now the wild part about this, like I said, is that maybe the final cosmic evolution is evolving outside of this cosmos, our cosmos, right? The ascension process. And earmuffs, spoilers, if you guys have never seen Stargate, okay, the Stargate SG-1. But there's an interesting part about it where they sort of come into contact. So they have these Stargates, right? And it's they jump into them and they've been built. These Stargates are there and they uncover, I think 2 on Earth. They find in Egypt, another one they find in Antarctica later. Spoilers for like a 20-year-old series or something. And they stacked on and did more after that in different series and stuff that I haven't seen, but I've seen all of SG-1. But here's the thing, right? The wild and interesting part about it was that those Stargates, again, this is just fiction, sort of mirroring philosophy a little bit, is they were created by the ancients. And the ancients aren't necessarily physical beings anymore. They've ascended, actually fully, quote, ascended into this other realm, this sort of pure energy space. And there's a whole, storyline with Daniel Jackson and some of that stuff. I won't go into the details. It's been a long time since I've seen it, a couple of years anyway. But the point is that, do you think maybe that's it? Maybe we're dealing with not just so our damage as humans is we're thinking of extraterrestrials. We're thinking of demons. We're thinking of sort of these dogmatic circular ideas and anthropomorphizing them in some way. However, is it possible that this final cosmic evolution has happened? And that's why, let's say once you reach that tech singularity, maybe that's what happens to us. And we become, I don't know, sentient energy, free floating in the cosmos, kind of locked into that technology of consciousness itself. And so suddenly you are less interested in material things because you can explore everything all the time, whenever the hell you want. You get it? Yeah. I don't know. That was the idea of this, but recognize we started with this weird Soviet U.S. search for alien life, talking about the Cold War and stuff. But then this sort of synchronicity of all of these alien stuff articles hitting in the course of a couple of days. And so they've determined that the wild part is that so the Arecibo Observatory would be Earth's most detectable technosignature to an outside observer, okay? Potentially visible from up to 12,000 light years away. Seems to fly in the face of what we know about many things. And so, I don't know. It's strange. It's an odd thing, which means, of course, maybe we were instantly detected. The second something comes online that an advanced technological species out there would instantly recognize and maybe start sending you signals back. Maybe the signals back are what's in our mind all the time, what's in the back of our mind. Maybe our signals are our shadow selves. Maybe the signals are, I don't know, maybe these pantheons that have been trying to talk to us all along. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so back to this real quick. So if Earth is broadcasting a signal detectable across thousands of light years, this is straight from my write-up, then the real question isn't whether we are alone. It's whether, and this is the premise tonight, someone somewhere has already received our message. And if they have, why haven't they responded? Or have they? And we've entirely missed it. So, and that's the thing, the Fermi paradox, and we've talked about this a lot too, that the zoo hypothesis or the dark forest hypothesis. And let's wrap that into the conversation too. The dark forest hypothesis is fascinating as hell because it means that an intelligent technological species recognizes that you don't want to start sending all kinds of radio signals out and be a noisy planet, kind of like Earth does. You don't want to be the noisy planet because everybody around you, the predators, are waiting for that technological signal to turn on. Okay? It's like the cosmic void of shark-infested waters. If anybody's into D&D, the astral dreadnought out there floating around looking for souls to snip and cut their silver cord and devour them forever, right? Like that type of stuff. So again, metaphorically. But the dark forest hypothesis says that there's predators out there everywhere. And the reason why it's so quiet is because everybody knows this. Anybody that is smart enough to recognize why you shouldn't send all these radio signals out into space and be that outlier noisy planet are the ones that have survived. And the ones that don't, well, they start broadcasting I Love Lucy and Hitler giving his speech at the 32 Olympics or whatever that was, and just sending it out there into the cosmos. And then building radio telescopes. Right? I don't know. It's incredible. But back to Stargate. Now, the Stargate thing is that ascension process is complicated, right? Except maybe this is what we're dealing with. Maybe that technological singularity that we're talking about is an ascension process where we cross that veil that we're always discussing. And maybe we've misunderstood the veil all along. Maybe it has nothing to do with all of the things we've described over the past several thousand years as humans collectively. Maybe it's something else entirely. And it is sort of that ascension into the ancients, as Stargate SG-1 sort of labels them as. Maybe that's the ultimate evolution of this. And maybe we're wrong about all of it. I don't know. That's what's on my mind tonight. A lot of things in play here, a lot of things in motion. As always, the future is, says Yoda. And so what do you guys know about this? And do you think it is possible that not only have we been detected by an extraterrestrial presence, label it however you like, but also that we've received the signal, received the return signal, and it's embedded in all of us. And we think about it every single day, and we won't recognize it until we turn that corner of that technological singularity. I don't know. Lots of ideas flowing through this. You tell me. Love to hear your thoughts. 702. Oops, wrong button. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. I don't know. I feel a little better about that pushing the wrong button because I heard it today on Super Pro Radio out there, you know, where they got the whole team and everything. Yeah, somebody pushed the wrong button. I was like, it's not just me. Anyway, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More after the break. We got Joey coming up, more from James and your calls if you've got it. Love to hear your thoughts. Be right back. More coming up.
Invisible lines, the secret fleet they say, hidden in plain sight. It's a cloak and dagger play, under spectral lights, fiction or real life. I've lost the fight, saw their shadows cast on my bedroom wall, ghostly whispers faint, answering no call. Is it all in my mind, or am I insane? The stories of a world beyond, driving me in chains. The streets are silent now, the truth's veiled in mist. Looking to the stars above, wondering what I've missed. Echoes in the night, silhouettes out of sight. Their eyes are watching closed, unseen by the day, hiding in the dark where shadows play. Government secrets whispered, never to be told. Underneath the cover of night, is there truth to behold? I hear the hum, the sound I can't explain, disappearing lights, driving me insane. Muffled footfalls echo, through empty streets we roam, searching for the clues that lead us home. Paranoid delusions grip our fragile minds, reality bends and blurs in this space and time. Is it all in my mind, or am I insane? the stories of a world beyond, driving me in chains. Static on the radio, the static hums a tale. In basements and attics, secrets sift like mail. Eyes behind the blinds, knives behind the backs. Conspiracy we ride on paranoid tracks. Is it all in my mind, or am I insane? The stories of...
Indeed. What's up, guys? Hope you're well. We got Joey coming up next. More from James if he's got it. And your take as well. I don't know. So basically the premise is, yeah, you've been listening. Hope everybody's well tonight. Thanks for the great comments everywhere. Appreciate you guys. A fantastic call from James, of course. As always, what is up? Yeah, who is here? Prepping's a great family hobby. Yeah, right? Hey, prepping, hey? You can't go wrong. Better to be prepared than not. What is going on? Who did I miss? If I missed anybody, just say hi. Lily in Australia, how are you? What is going on? Kramos is here. What's happening, folks? We got APOC. Good evening, guys. Gaston, what's up, Jorge? We got Matsal, Daryl, Sweets, Eric, Dawn. I see you guys. Hope you're well tonight. Just doing what we do. Hanging out, talking about wild things. It's weird, right? It's weird when you start to think about human definitions and how we sort of try and define the cosmos. It's, it's wild. Panicking over stuff is just reading the chat over there. It's just I don't know, right? Like the way I see it, hey, our ancestors got us here and they went through probably a lot worse than we did. So panicking in that capacity to me is at least counterproductive. At worse than that. What's up, guys? Who did I miss? Let's see. Over to YouTube. What's up, Eric? The Drake equation versus the Fermi paradox. Yeah, there's a lot of wild things here in play, and I don't know, a lot of even more strange ideas. What's up, Herschel over there on Kick? How you doing, buddy? Says Herschel says this. Humans do not give each other rights. Robot rights will not be a thing. I don't know about that. Imagine when the world at large doesn't have actual full human rights, except, well, then we start, legislating for robot rights, right? What's up, Eric says 6EQUJ5. Wow, the wow signal. Yes, indeed. I don't think they've ever completely explained what that is. What's up, Liz is here. How you doing? What's going on? Ceres Planet, aka Moon. All right, here we go. Trouble Minds happening right now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, DLive, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. Now, is it possible that the silence of the cosmos itself is just a human construct? Meaning, specifically, that we've already received the messages we need. We just haven't woken up collectively to understand what they are. And in this case, I'm talking about this final cosmic evolution as not just our own technological singularity as part of that, the great filter, they call it. The great filter not keeping, let's say, civilizations back, but the great filter is that they've reached the point of really becoming gods themselves. Pure energy, evolving into some sort of sentient energy that is now also seeding ideas out into the cosmos to follow, to ascend, very much like Stargate SG-1, if you've watched that series. Those, again, spoiler alert for an old series. It's good. I do recommend it, but it's long and, 10 seasons or something? I don't know, but it's really good stuff. But anyway, love to hear your thoughts on this. There's a lot of ways to look at this, a lot of ways to consider it. 702-957-1037, that is a Las Vegas area code, or you can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org, and we'll put you on the show on Discord anywhere in the world. It's completely free. Welcome to the joint. Let's go to Joey. Well, welcome. How are you? Thanks for being patient and sharing the airwaves here. How are you tonight, sir? And go right ahead.
Okay, what's up, Mike? Can you guys hear me okay?
You sound very quiet and very muffled.
Very quiet and muffled. I can't hear you very well on my phone, so I put it on Bluetooth onto an external speaker, but I don't know how well that was going to work, so muffled.
Better now. Just speak loud and clear into the thing, and we should be good to go.
Okay, all right. I'll do my best. I'm a quiet guy, but let's start. Are we alone? Like you said that several times. Are we alone here in the universe, right?
That's the main question. Absolutely.
Well, it's a broad, blanketed way to put the question. It means we're all inclusive. And we all know that everybody's got their own perspective. So alone could be a matter of perspective. What defines alone to you?
Yeah, very well said. I hope you're not asking me to define it.
That's a question for everybody, but aren't we somehow all of us? We're talking. We're one of the few species that we know of, at least here, that can verbally communicate like this. I mean, others make noises, and we don't know their language, so we don't know if they're actually communicating. But we talk in our language, and we know that we can communicate so well that we can dominate a wilderness. You know, whether we really get along or not, we can still do it. But internally, we're all always, throughout the entirety of our lives, alone. You feel other people, and we connect with other people, but you can never express. There's a connection that happens, and somehow everybody just gets it. But your words would never be enough to merit the connection that happened. So everybody just got it. Or you can never express to somebody exactly how you feel or what your thoughts are, and we wouldn't want to, because when we bring it up, it eludes us. The only thing we can gather that can make that rational, because magic is a word that's kind of confused us or put a veil on things, made it funny to think that these things can't just somehow physically happen without some kind of sorcerer or some kind of thing like that. We don't want to believe that's real because it would kind of be scary if it was, because we all don't know that we could have trust that somebody's not out there doing something nefarious and we're under some spell. So we'd really be scared then if we thought it was true. So we made it fictional, even though we know it's true. So we're not scared. And we told everybody that we're all together and we're collectively thinking. Without collectively thinking, you're still an individual, and you can be free and express yourself here, and it's fun, and you get to have peers like here, or you go other places and maybe get some negative results. But marginally, we're all free to do it here in our country. So we have this thought process that we're born with and we live with, and we really are just kind of lying to ourselves, because the truth is we're always alone, all the time, all the way through it. And it's all speculation, and you either succumb to that fear of your speculations because you know the truth of the universe because it's built into you, like you said earlier. It's all just built in there. We just don't know it because we don't have proof. But religions will tell you don't seek the proof because you already know it. What's the point of going on a journey and you get to the end of the journey and you realize, oh, I didn't need to take this journey. I was already here. I had the information. I just needed to somehow unlock it. But that same thing applies to negative things in life, like cancer exists in your body. And if you produce the right circumstances or things that cancer likes to come party, it'll come. You just choose and set the scenario. But if you know all the things that are potential, you can, choose which side of the path you want to lean on, left or right, or if you want to walk more of a middle.
Yeah,
maybe the middle's not fun, but the middle is that observatory position when you come through this life. You're not really trying to affect anything more than you have to get through, but you have picked up all the information along the way, whereas some people placate to the material, physical, tangible nature of life, and then some gravitate to the other side, which is the spiritual thing that's the veil beyond this physical reality. But physical reality is physical. So when we talk about the aliens or other races, it's distinctly likely that there's something else out there besides us that has gotten to this stage. And we have, plenty of ancient people from our history that have said they've communicated with those types of individuals. If that's true, and they came here and they're physical, whether they came through portals or they came via ships, is immaterial. The only thing that's material is That's not a god. That's just somebody that understands physics better than we do.
Exactly. That as I always call it, that temporal space of technology. If you're on the short end of it, you're like, wow, wizards. If you're on the long end of it, you're like, cavemen. So you know what I mean? It's exactly the point here is that eventually do we become, I don't know, like not human at all? Do we sort of become, as you're describing, and very, very, very well said, by the way, with the alone stuff, because right, all of this that we're creating here is connection. Everything we do on this show is based on human connection. It's ideas, it's mythology, it's folklore, it's trying to combine old ideas with new ideas, trying to find some nugget of novelty that we can share together to be human together. But you're absolutely right. In the end of ends, we are alone, and so. We spend a lot of time being social and being all the things that we are to sort of conquer that fear demon, conquer that fear, conquer that demon. But deer comes out of my mouth. But yeah, I mean it's complicated, and you're absolutely right. It's a little nihilistic, but I love the philosophical take, and that's just the way things are, right? But go ahead, what else you got?
Well, yeah, it is. But like, let's say some being came here. And they're going to be one side of the coin or the other too. You know, my philosophy, everything in the universe is balanced. There's plenty of physical other beings out there that could do what we do and better, but it doesn't mean that they're gods. And I always argue that if a being shows up and you don't want to be subservient to it or believe whatever it's telling you, even if it seems friendly, then you can always speculate really quickly or decide really quickly whether this is a god or not. If the person tells you they're a god, then you ask them to create matter or energy out of nothingness right now. And I'll concede. Now and I'll have to concede in a way that's really low because I'll have offended my God. But I'll certainly concede, and you'll never have any more foul talk from me. But if you can't do it, then you're not God. And now God on the outside of the actual physical universe might not be a physical thing, and I don't know that, but I don't speculate on it either, because a lot of religions tell you that. Don't go looking for signs of things, just live through your life. Here's some guidelines to not be a poorly behaving person and somebody that, caters to the fact that they're part of the entirety of the world and not just themselves. And that's what I've learned studying any ancient people's religions. Every civilization has a rise and a fall. They either get too aggressive or they get too passive. If there's no middle ground and they don't negotiate well with their neighbors, then they don't last the test of time. Or if they're really very advanced but not bigger and able to combat the entirety of the world, well, then they'll probably have to either take a diminished role and hand over whatever advancements they have to people that are of a lesser mind and ability to utilize them. It's kind of a situation we have, which has brought about all these things in our lives with the aliens and such. Like, there might be aliens out there. If they haven't come here in a long time, it's because they're either from really far away and they don't have the physical means to travel as quickly as we're giving them credit for, or they have set up shop here and made it so they don't have to put on the dog and pony show of kings and queens and gods and stuff anymore, because now we're doing all the labor that they wanted us to do, but we think we're doing it for ourselves. So they don't have to do that. They just have to chill, and they have to kind of blend in. But if that's not happening, then maybe they left, and whoever was here that knew about them put on the dog and pony show and tried to make their fellow man subservient, and we've just continued the same system going, even though it was already broken to begin with, because we were just tricked into creating it by some people that really weren't gods. They just wanted to utilize our ability. Or maybe, even still, if it's not about subjecting us, it's about helping us to ascend, or even further, giving us the choice to ascend to a higher level or to degrade ourselves back from whence we came, then the test will be put to us exactly how things are going now. We're on a precipice where we can really go into a whole new form of humanity, and we can do it in a positive way, and we can be constructive out here in the universe. And if there's other beings out there, then they probably sat back and said, you know what? Now you're ready to take your seat at the show. You've seen that in a lot of media and movies and stuff before. Or if it's the latter, then we chose poorly and we don't deserve that chance, so we'll probably turn ourselves back into rubble. Or if we have the ability to go out there and we're that dangerous, we'll probably be put back to rubble. But it'll all happen all over again, just like it has several other times.
The old cycles repeat. Yeah. I wonder how many times that's happened in the past. We've talked about that quite a lot. Like I don't know, like 10,000 years removed, 20,000 years, 50,000 years removed type of stuff.
More than that, at least 4, what I believe.
Yeah. There's a lot of guesses out there. And of course, I think eventually we'll start to catch up as we get more and more data and recognize that there was more than just the Great Flood. Surely the flood was one, but there's going to be several more in my guesstimation. But again, what do I really know? Do you think that this is the point? Is that we're missing what first contact means, and maybe it's always been here with us as humans, and we're just supposed to unlock it like it's an intelligence test. It's like a collective IQ test where. So finally somebody's like, hey, look, I cracked the code, guys. It's this. And if everybody's like, ha, 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 boo, jeers, and throwing tomatoes at them, we're not smart enough. And so the true ascension or whatever that process looks like or actual contact never occurs because we're not ready collectively. I don't know. Wild stuff to consider. What do you got? Go ahead.
I think if the Earth is just a petri dish to test us to see how well we can do, it was a hell of a test because they put a being that's capable of almost any accomplishment if they really put their minds to it, whether it's utilizing other materials around them or doing it physically themselves. We are so smart that we could build anything to accomplish whatever we needed to do that we can imagine. That would almost bend physics if we didn't understand physics a little better than a caveman. But they would see and go, holy crap, these guys are magicians. No, we're not. That's just a big Tonka toy for us. But yeah, I guess it's impressive to you. I think that if that's the case, to sit back and watch whether these beings that have the capability to solve whatever problems, if they really sit down and think about it and have all the means by which to live reciprocally and at total ease on this planet that has everything they could ever possibly need, and then some. And let's just see if they figure out how to keep that cycle going without being of detriment to it. So even if they can't leave, they're totally fine. They know how to live with the thing that they live on because they know it's part of them. And they all know that they all got to live because they're all here living, and none of them created each other. I mean, we create each other, but you didn't create yourself, really. All this material isn't you. Your mom, you came out of your mother, I came out of mine. But did she really create you? No. The biology of her body did all that for her without thinking about it, just like breathing. She might have made an active choice to have you or try to have you. Some people do and some people don't. I don't know what your situation or everybody's situation is. My parents didn't plan to have me. These things just happen. But they didn't create us in the same way as creating material from nothing like God does, or a godlike being.
Well said.
Or maybe somebody just has the ultimate knowledge of physics. Who knows? We don't know enough. And if you feel like you want to shoot for the stars with the human race, then we should start studying better and stop taking so many steps backwards and plan it out before we even make a move. Or if we're not going to do all that and we're just going to live our lives here, regardless of whatever happens, then it's really nothing to think about because you're not going to do anything about it. I think that this is kind of a test on one part. Like anything else in life, there's the duality of it. We can really succeed, or we can really truly fail. But it doesn't matter, because once the experiment fails, you do what you do in an experiment, you scrub it, you start over from scratch. But all of the stuff is still there to start over, so all you got to do is burn it or wash it off or whatever it is. It can be purified and then remolded and redone. And I think that's probably happened because we haven't reached that level, or some of us have, and those are the ones sitting out there in the council just waiting to clap their hands or looking down on us like, you're not as good as our generation was. But it's got to be a 50-50 bag there too. But the thing is whether they love us or hate us, they can't really do anything except for provide us a temptation one way or the other, or some kind of, choice one way or the other. It has to be our free choice, because this is our race and our time, and we're here to prove ourselves and whether we're worthy or not. So if we don't make active choices for ourselves and do it, and then show that we're able to take on that level because we're thinking actively and with caution and care, then we get scrubbed at a certain point.
Yeah, or just sort of sidelined. Back to Star Trek for just a second. That Prime Directive, right? It's probably one of the most philosophically poignant things that comes out of Star Trek in my mind. There's tons of stuff there, tons and tons of stuff. But the actual species, this spacefaring species that becomes the gods themselves. I mean, imagine if the Enterprise kind of pulled into our orbit and it was able to cloak itself and do all the stuff that we've seen. We would perceive it as, and whatever entities were on it. In this case, they're human. Jean-Luc Picard, shout out. But we would perceive that certainly as some sort of technological terror akin to an invasion of the gods themselves, because and that's the wild part. And so the whole point of me bringing it up was that Prime Directive, where they're not allowed. It is a literally the most important thing is that they do not interfere with the technology of a species that has not yet turned a corner. And in the case that, if you've seen the movies, again, Zefram Cochrane, we talked about that quite a lot on the show, is that First Contact is the name of the Star Trek movie. But basically, they're not allowed to even contact unless the actual species has conquered interstellar travel, like light speed or whatever that technological space is, and they're to be basically ignored. Yeah, I don't know. Wild stuff. We got a couple minutes left. If you got anything else, go right ahead, sir.
Well, you touched on earlier with the Stargate thing. Like, Stargate it started out with the movie and then the show, and if you continue on with the show, they get to those little gray men, and they explain it as this is a race that was similar to us. They kept messing with their genetics and their time, and then they eventually got to the point where they couldn't reproduce, or they got sick somehow, or whatever. They were dying, and they had all this technology, and they were looking for somebody to be able to trust with that technology to pass on, so that they don't essentially die off. Like, their work has been accomplished and continues on, and somebody upholds it, but upholds it in a way that they felt would be appreciated the way that they intended it, and not misused. So they walked a really fine line with the human race for a while before they relinquished that to us. And it was almost like just a desperation. They're like, we're still not even sure, but like, I guess I kind of have to because I'm the last one that I'm dying. But that's how they explained it. Of course, there was other races that were out there that utilized technologies that they didn't create, like the Stargates. They made a big deal about the Egyptians in the first movie. They weren't actually Egyptians. They were Egyptians on our home, but they were spread all over the place, and they just found some technology that somebody had created a long time ago, and they used it as if they were the ones that created it and made themselves gods.
Well said. Fire stuff, all that, brother. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for popping in here as soon as you got home and bringing fire as always. I say just as a final thought here, we're going to get to James real quick too before we end the segment. But I think you're right about a lot of this. In my opinion, is that we should pay a little more attention to some of the things that seem frivolous or don't matter, which is why I do this show, by the way, because I think these conversations need to happen. And whether it's real or not, or there's some space in between, if we don't consider it, we'll never discover it. That's a fact. Fire stuff, brother. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. Always a pleasure, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, have a great night.
Peace, everybody.
Joey on the Discord. If you guys haven't joined the Discord, you're doing yourselves a disservice. Look at all these amazing people. Come meet them, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, pop in here. Come meet Joey and James and all the rest of these active folks on the Discord. So many smart people, so many smart friends. James, you said you had a quick comment before we wrap the segment here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I will find the link in a minute here during the break. But I just listened to an episode of Star Trek Next Generation last night where there was an outpost that was set up to monitor a species on a planet, not to contact them. And there was an accident and contact was made. And to the point where everyone there thought that Picard was a god, was an overseer. It was just the timing on that is really weird. I'll find the episode and I can describe it better later if there's time, and I'll find the link and share it in the chat as well.
Yeah, you're the best. I've seen that one, and it is fantastic, and it causes all manner of political upheaval on the planet. There's different factions that are like the gods have finally come, sort of the religious factions. There's the other factions that are like, no, they're coming to conquer us, and it causes all manner of like ripple effects and strife on the planet because, of course, as it would. Imagine again the Enterprise just parking in our orbit and just sitting there, and everybody's looking up and seeing it and like, well, guys, is this it? Like, what is going on? Yeah.
And I think that's a different one. Mike. I think there's a few different episodes in the series. Sorry to cut in, but I think there's more than a few times in that series where the whole Prime Directive, you see it's not as easy as maybe the words on the directive say it is. Exactly, right? And so maybe that has been breached for us too. And I guess it comes to down to that intelligence test. And so some people have said that in the UFO community as well. What's his name? The Stanford guy, Dr. Gary Nolan. He's described it as, he believes there's something here, kind of nebulous on what it is, and hasn't described it exactly, but he's pointed to the fact that he thinks it might be an intelligence test, sort of a test for us to recognize that we have actually been contacted. Wild stuff, I don't know. So the questions for tonight, of course, are we alone? Have we been contacted? What does that look like, and is it the ultimate intelligence test in the larger concept of cosmic evolution? 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds on Michael Strange. Be right back. We got Herschel coming up, Eric, and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
Symbols, whispers, and shadows. We've got maps where nobody goes. In the night under hidden glows, guardians of what no one knows. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. In cloaked silence we traverse the lines, through ancient scrolls in forgotten times. Voices echo in the halls of lore, guardians of the mysteries evermore. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. Where shadows meet in cryptic disguise, our eyes sharp against the everglows. With silver threads we weave the stealth to guard the past, forgotten world. In the realm where the myths collide, time where the legends lay. We tread the path where shadows play. With spectral eyes we discern the truth, unraveling tales from ancient youth.
Well, hello, friends. Hope everybody's well tonight. Talking aliens. But of course, as you know me, I don't think it's as cut and dry as just, are we alone in the universe? That's where the conversation starts, but it gets incredibly wild. What's up? We got Herschel coming up and Eric after that. I see you guys. Fantastic stuff. Joey, thank you. Fantastic stuff. James, thanks for the calls. Thanks for all the amazing chat. Kelly, you're up third, so hang tight. If you want to maybe dip and call back at the top of the hour, we'll cut you to the front of the line. If you want to, we want to do that because we've got a couple calls in front of you. Just an FYI, so you don't have to sit there on the phone waiting. If you want to wait on the phone, that's cool too. Just completely up to you. Just giving you the option there. We'll cut you back in line. What's up? Hope you're well. We got Scubrats. What's that? MJ, how you doing? Who am I missing? What's up, Eric? There, yeah. Season 3, episode 4. Who watches the Watchers? Yep. Yep. I haven't seen. I'm not a big Doctor Who fan. I know. Boo. Right. What's up? What's up? Who did I miss? Only because I haven't seen enough of it. Probably. MJ, Lily in Australia. What's up, guys? Hope you're well tonight. Just hanging out, doing troubled mind stuff, talking about weird stuff and wild ideas. What's up, Gordo Raz? What's up, North Vixen? Hikers here. What's up, YY? I see you guys. If I missed you, just say hi and I'll say hi back. Here we go. Trouble Minds coming up. We got Herschel, Eric, and then Kelly after that. Here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, DLive, and Kick. We're broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight we're talking about, well, cosmic evolution. We're talking about first contact. We're talking about, is it possible that we've already been contacted for a long time now, and some of these recurring cycles in the human psyche are actually alien signals waiting for a collective decoding to maybe allow us to pass the test? Seems ridiculous to say. However, I think philosophically, this technology would exist out there in, well, a larger Kardashev scale. And so you tell me. Love to hear your thoughts on this. What's up? Shout out Sylvain. I know I missed you there. Yeah, I don't know. Answers, few questions, many. You guys are the best. Appreciate you being patient with each other. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Let's go to Herschel. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and James and everybody else. Welcome to the joint. How are you, sir? And go right ahead. Test. Just unmute. We got you muted yet? Herschel's up here. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, you guys.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm doing good. So I don't know about the collective thing. Like, I don't think that they care that whether we collectively like think something or whatever. But I think that if there's something in it for them, they reveal themselves. Like all the kinds of interviews I've heard and people who've had contact, with the different aliens are all saying that it's they're a commercial species. They're interested in industry and commercial benefit. And if there's something, there's got to be something in it for them. They're not just it's not like a big altruistic like endeavor or something. So that's why some people are in contact with them and some people aren't. If there's something in it for them, then they do. So that's why they have a relationship with the military and a relationship with the government, because they can provide them with things. They can provide them with bases inside of mountains where they can work on their spaceships. They can provide them with cover. They can lie. They obviously lie for them and tell us that they don't exist. Well, they do. People have seen them. We know they're real. So contact has happened, and it's more of a question of, we live in a world where a gigantic portion of the population are just afraid that they're going to be called a weirdo or something. Like, oh, if I tell people I saw those lights in the sky, they're going to say I'm a weirdo, and I'm just going to ridicule everybody who talks about that because that's the cool thing to do. Like, that's how puerile our species is. So the idea that it's going to be, there's some kind of they're waiting for some collective advancement of consciousness. That's not going to happen. Why would that happen? Like, what's the evidence that there's some sort of a collective, unified movement of consciousness? There's so many different variations of conscious life just on this planet alone that we know of. The universe is even bigger, and there's varying levels of intelligence and courage on this planet amongst this species that we're a part of. So the idea that that's just not something that is like a rational thing, like that sort of collectivist thing. It's just not rational. It's not. They're extremely rational beings. They have business relationships and trade relationships with military organizations and government organizations, because those are the people who can do something for them. Those are the people who can help them make their way through the galaxy. I was watching this one guy who was talking about his relationship with the tall white. And he was saying that, like, even when they come in to our planet, the reason that they have accidents is because if they don't hit that, they don't come in at just the right time when the Earth and the Sun and the Moon are lined up, it affects the way that their crafts work, and they have to think about the magnetism of the planet and the gravity and the way that works together to help them slow down so that they can stabilize their ships. So they're not infallible. Their technology isn't perfect. Our species, we have some people, probably a warehouse full of technical people who figured out how to land a spaceship after they use it once, and now they can land it again, and they can catch it in these arms and stuff. Elon Musk didn't do that by himself. That was a warehouse full of technical people, all doing equations and all trying different variables of it until they figured out something that worked. You know what I mean? Like that, and it's still not perfect. And so the idea that they're some kind of these perfect beings who are going to usher us into some new age or something like that, that's like, to me, that just seems like not doable. Like, it's just, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's just presumptuous. That's the word I'm looking for. It's presumptuous to think that there's some kind of these so super advanced beings that they're going to usher us in to some new age. It's presumptuous for us to think that our species could ever collectively be ready or not ready. Some people are ready to admit it, and some people aren't. Some people are in positions of power and grandiosity where they can actually offer these creatures, these beings, something in exchange for whatever they're getting out of it. And those are the people, like the kind of people that we've had several conversations about. When you get to that place in your mind where you don't know and you're at the edge of knowledge, you make a decision. Some people choose forensics. Some people choose propaganda. So they're obviously not perfect beings because they're cutting deals with propagandists.
Yeah. Okay. So
maybe we need to be careful of them because they're just as deceptive and deceitful as our leadership here.
Maybe. Okay. So here's the thing too, why I've always had a problem with the exchange program, that's whole lore in the UFO space, is because if you have that level of technology, what can you get from us unless you're here for sweet meat or archonic energy or things like this, right? Because they can go mine their own asteroid field and get way more cool stuff. I'm sure there's like big chunks of water out there floating in space. They don't need us at all for anything, technologically speaking. So I don't know. So those types of ideas, again, I'm with you that it's It's unclear. And what was the term you used there? Presumptuous. Presumptuous was the term.
Yeah.
That's basically like the backbone of troubled minds too. Like we're presumptuous about a lot of things because it's unclear. It's unclear what any of this is. And you can ask again. I say if you ask the right question to 1,000 people, you're likely to get 1,000 different answers. And one of them is what are aliens, and are they here? Do they exist or whatever? I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I'm just saying I can see this in a lot of different ways, and I don't know.
Me too.
I don't really know, but yeah. First stuff.
We do have stuff.
Go ahead.
We do have stuff that they want. Like they use our titanium. They can use our titanium. They also use our planet as a way station. They also really like our planet because it's similar to their planet, but it's even more temperate for them. They like it more. They like the hot regions of our planet, but they don't all. And there's two species that like the hotter regions of our planet. And there's one species that likes it colder. But the thing is that we do have stuff that they can use because, like I said, like they travel through space and they have to have a rest stop and they have to work on their ships, and so they have a base here. And we get stuff out of it, and they get that out of it. They get a place where they can replenish their ships, where they can re-energize their ships, where they can replace panels with titanium. That it's not like they're some kind of magic. These specific people are not these magic beings that exist in another dimension. They're three-dimensional people like we are. So they're fallible. They're not perfect. They're not magic. They have advanced beyond what we have advanced, and we're probably not all that far behind them. And there's certain things that they don't allow. They don't allow us to watch them work on their ships. They don't allow that. But every once in a while, they throw us a bone as a trade. Because it's about a commercial relationship. It's a business relationship. It's not like some kind of altruistic, like religious experience. It's purely material. It's purely, there's something in it for me. I'll make it worth your while.
Fair enough. Yeah.
They like it here. They like it. They like the desert.
It seems that way. I live in the desert. There's Vegas. There's all kinds of weird stuff in the sky all the time. 100%.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. You too. You live in the Southwest as well. Okay, so regarding.
But I saw him when I was a kid up there. I saw him when I was a kid in Michigan. You remember my story? I told it a couple times. I saw him when I was in Michigan when I was a kid, and they didn't abduct me or something. I just saw stuff in the sky, and I was aware of the fact that they were aware of the fact that I was aware of them. They knew that I was aware of them. It wasn't like they were communicating with me telepathically, and they didn't have some big special message for me or something like that. It wasn't an epiphany, but it was definitely that observer effect was very strong. Let's put it that way. It was palpable. We'll put it like that.
Yeah, reciprocal even. Like I love the I know that you know that I know that you know. Certainly, that's one of those poker player leveling things that I'm always talking about. Yeah, wild stuff. What else you got regarding this or anything else?
Oh, I don't know. I think I made my realistic cynical point to everybody. I didn't mean to bum everybody's night out. It's like, but like, as far, they might be spiritual beings. There hasn't been a lot of communication about that. The other thing that they say about the tall whites, and that they really like nice things. They live an opulent life. They want opulence and they want comfort. They really like that. And the Greys are absolutely fierce when it comes to their children. When it comes to their children, if somebody even thinks a bad thought about their children or shows any fear toward their children, they're a goner. Like they can just zap you and it's done. It's over. They don't tolerate any sort of doubt or aggression or any kind of ill thoughts toward their children.
As well, you should not. A properly evolved civilization should absolutely draw not just that line, but that's definitely a hard line in the sand. I agree. 100%. Yeah. Great stuff. And you're not, it's not a cynical take. You're okay. You know, the whole point of this is to put a lot of perspectives out and consider all of them together. Just real quick before you go. So Michael W. in the chat says, I think Herschel is right about most of this. So there you go. So you're not off the beaten path like you think you are. You're right in the pocket. Always a pleasure, brother.
Cool. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for the call. You're the best. That's Herschel. You know him, you love him. You know where to find him. Check it out, troubledminds.org/friends. I'll do it right here on the stream. Click friends. Scroll down. It says follow Herschel here. Go check out his Substack. Check out his podcast. Check out his recent book that he just released. All of that will be on his link tree right there. Please, please, please help our friends. And that's the whole point of this, is to make ideas become friends, and then friends and ideas mix, and let's help each other together. So if you haven't followed Herschel in all the places, if you're looking to buy some books and treat yourself, definitely check out Herschel's writing and check out his podcast. He's here on the network with us as well. Please, please, please help our friends. That's what this is about. It's about people. It's about ideas. And I think we're doing a good job of that. Fantastic call. And yeah, not cynical whatsoever. Anything on that real quick, James, before we go to Eric?
Great calls from everyone so far. Two things. I do agree with Herschel on what he said there. I do think that is just part of everything, though, that is going on with all the different experiences. The other thing is, I also agree that there may never be a collective sort of first contact. I think it happens individually, and it may take several contacts before any kind of major message is able to be passed between people and whoever or whatever else is out there. So that was it for now.
Well said. You're the best. 702-957-1037. Eric in Florida. What's up, brother? Thanks for being patient. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? And go right ahead.
I am good. Really good calls, man.
Thank you. Yeah, we got blessed with a lot of smart friends. So what you got for us tonight? What do you know about the aliens, man?
Well, the aliens. So the Drake equation, for sure, is one of the things that make people serious enough in the scientific community. So I've got like a materialistic view here that's just as strange, but that makes them serious enough to want to figure out really clever ways to try to talk with aliens or listen to aliens. So one of the things about the Drake equation that powers it is that the underlying assumption is that these alien species, if they're at least as intelligent as us, will figure out the same things that we've figured out, the underlying truths of the universe, like the periodical table of elements and the fact that matter can convert to energy and vice versa. Because the laws of physics are the same everywhere in the universe. So they equally apply to us as much as they do to them. So a while ago, 1951, I think, they discovered that looking at hydrogen through spectrometry gives a universal 21 centimeter line. So hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe and something that any intelligent species will eventually detect. And the frequency of hydrogen is 1420.40575 megahertz. So from right after around 1959, we started listening for intelligent signals from the universe on the frequency of 1420 megahertz, assuming that if we were smart enough to figure out that this was a universal frequency, so to speak, that other species would be able to figure this out too. And since the discovery of the hydrogen line in 1951, the frequency has been saved as a radio astronomical research frequency and is maintained and protected internationally. So nobody broadcasts on this frequency because all we use it for is listening for other intelligent life or people that's as intelligent as us and can maybe broadcasting in this frequency because of it being the frequency of hydrogen and universal in that sense. So that's why we're listening. This 1959 paper was set down as the groundwork for how this would work with radio waves. Frank Drake did Project Ozma, which is basically the first experimental attempt to detect extraterrestrial signals. And then from 1961 on, they've basically been listening on this 420 frequency. And in 1977 was the WOW signal, was the most likely signal we've gotten using this method, which was a broadcast from roughly the Sagittarius region for roughly 72 seconds. And has never been fully explained away, and nor has it been able to be repeated. But it's like the closest thing we have to the kind of thing we were hoping that we would hear. And so there's that. And then another thing, I mean, that's stuff that all supports the Drake equation, basically. But then you talk about the Fermi paradox, right? And one of the underlying principles of the Fermi paradox is that we think that the universe is approximately 13.8 billion years old, and that our own Milky Way galaxy was formed around 13.5 billion years ago. And it's roughly, as far as we can tell, our galaxy is roughly around 50,000 light years across. So if probes or colony ships were to travel at 1% the speed of light, and, you know, keeping in mind that if they had better engines or a warp drive or something, they would actually be able to do this quicker. But let's say we keep it as hard as possible for them, and they don't have anything that can travel faster than the speed of light, but they can achieve 1% of the speed of light, which is roughly 3,000 kilometers per second. And if a colonization step occurred every few thousand years to allow for establishment of new outposts and things like that, you could colonize the entire galaxy, in theory, in a fraction of the 13.5 billion years that the galaxy has been around. So by these equations, there should have been species that completely colonized the entire galaxy, and either have, like in the zoo hypothesis points out, or have not. On the have not side is all of these bottlenecks that people have to go through. Like, one of the things that a civilization has to discover, if they are going to be at least as intelligent as us, is that they can convert matter into energy and thus create atomic weapons. And then they have to survive past that point and not blow themselves up like we did, right?
The great filter.
And then, yeah, and there's more. Like, AI could possibly be a filter. Transhumanism could possibly be a filter. A next step in evolution could possibly be a filter. We don't even know what the filters are. A big rock could theoretically come down from the sky and hit the planet like it did 65 million years ago with a Chicxulub crater and destroy everything that we've worked for just randomly, and we'd have to start over. So there's a lot of bottlenecks, and either all the species have died out, whether they were there or not, they've died out, and maybe their frequencies haven't got to us yet due to the size of the universe, or we have this zoo hypothesis thing going, and we were talking about Star Trek before, Who Watches the Watchers. There's another episode where they define a little more what it means to be included in the Federation, with the idea being that with subspace communications and warp drive, you literally warp your ship out of the space and travel and pop back in. Like, you disappear and reappear. No one really sees you travel. No one can tap into your communications. You have cloaking devices. You would never be able to detect them with their technology. But eventually, we will uncover that technology for ourselves, because it's inevitable, like all these other things. And when that point in time happens, if we've done that, and if we have a one world government and it won't start a war for them to land in the wrong country, then they will approach the planet and say, you can either join the Federation, and we have a lot of bylaws and there's a lot of things going on and it's complicated, or you can choose to opt out and no one will bother your planet because we have this thing called the Prime Directive and we will leave you alone. So that could be an option that we're in right now. You know, there could be a universal government that has decided they don't want to be a part of what's going on. It could be that we're not ready yet. And, you know, could be the dark forest hypothesis, like you pointed out. There's a lot of things that people are trying to come up with to try to figure out why, when everything is so common. The first four elements in you that make you up are the same four constituent components of the universe, and all of the laws are the same everywhere, where's everybody at? There should be a party. 12,000 light years of broadcasted signals, sure, most of that was UHF, VHF, but at some point we were broadcasting in a way that would have made us look more intelligent than Lucy.
Let's hope so. I mean, I look. I love Lucy reruns when I was little, so I'm not bagging on Lucy. But also, like I said, we broadcast Hitler in his speech at the 32 Olympics or whatever that was. So there's just a lot of really weird stuff that we're doing and sending out into space. Yeah, the wild stuff. Thank you for quantifying the size of the galaxy, 50,000-ish light years. So 11 or 12,000 would be a significant portion of the like a big chunk into the galaxy, a big chunk of the pie. Got a couple minutes left. What else?
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Just that there should have been plenty of time to colonize the galaxy, and either something happened to these civilizations, or they're all around us and we can't detect them. One of those two, I would think. That's all I got.
Yeah, you're the best. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling, and thanks for being a friend.
Thank you.
Have a great night. That's Eric in Florida. Check him out. You know where to find him. Again, if you are not on this list, and you should be, just contact me. Send me an email, troublemindsradio@gmail.com. But click troubleminds.org, click the friends list, scroll down a little bit. It says follow Eric right there. Click it. Go check out his music. I still haven't yet. Full disclosure. I'm sure he's a talented musician because he's a very smart guy. Go check out his music. He's got a music channel, and he's a musician, and he's an academic. And as you can tell, he's also a troubled mind. He's a dreamer in a lot of ways and can consider lots of ideas. Now, I want to point out that he was talking about how even academia is still trying to find ways to sort of culminate the idea that we're not alone, right? I mean, they're looking. They're always looking. It's almost as if it's kind of baked into the cake, right? Like I said, as part of this conversation tonight, the silence of the gods, we're out there staring at the sky, howling at the moon, doing all the things that humans do, and we're like, why aren't you answering us? Hey, come on now. With the wow signal, again, compelling. There's a lot of really weird stuff coming from the sky, but for instance, just as a technological subspace sort of Star Trek idea, how would we detect an entanglement communication? I don't know. I said this the other night too. It's weird to me. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on this great stuff. Please give Eric a follow, troubledminds.org/friends. Follow Eric. If you should be on that list, it's a big list, and you are included. It's an in list, not an out list. Send me an email, troublemindsradio@gmail.com. We're talking the silence of the gods tonight. Final cosmic evolution. Are the aliens here or not? And what does it look like, and what does it mean? Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. We got more from James and Kelly and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere.
In a cryogenic slumber, lost in the lunar night, your face a faded number among the stars so bright. Dreams of forgotten echoes, waiting for time's command. Curtains of gray and sorrow, the lonely lunar sand. Below the moonlit skies, of the love we try, silent by your brains and souls reside, suspended in a story, kept in the cold dark tide. Our futures in the making, in a silver-edged domain, hearts kept in silent aching, till we meet once again. We are awakened below the moonlit sky, to the fragments of the love we try. Frozen time we're resting, for dawn's embrace, whispers of love confessing in this forgotten place. We awaken to lonely sky, holds on to the fragments of the love we tried. With the morning glow, and the light will come to know. We are awakened below the moonlit sky, holds on to the fragments of the love we tried. In the depths of lunar silence, our destinies intertwine. Memories kept so vibrant in the vacuum deeply mine. The tale of cosmic yearning across the astral sea, and the fires of hope still burning for when we finally breathe free.
Hello there. Welcome to Troubled Minds. Just hanging out doing what we do. Yeah, a lot of wild ideas, a lot of fantastic callers, a lot of great chat out there. That's what we do, right? It's weird. Like I said, your vibe, your tribe type of thing. We've attracted a lot of really smart people, really smart friends that are into wild ideas. And hey, as I always say too, as part of these conversations, the ideas themselves live forever, right? We're temporarily. See what I did there? We're temporary. Shout out Herschel. He's the one who kind of brought that up and framed it that way. Humans are temporary, but don't forget that our ideas are eternal. Even if people forget them, they'll pick them up another time, in another place. And yeah, so yeah, there you go. What's up? Hope everybody's well tonight. Just hanging out doing the thing. We got Kelly coming up, more from James if he's got it. Thanks, Kelly, for being patient. Fantastic calls, everybody. Who did I miss? What's up? Michael W.'s here. What's up? Matt Zell, Daryl, Don. What's up? Joey. Both Joeys. Let me know. Hey, Joey that called. If you have something to share, I don't think you're on the list, so let me know, and we'll share your social media or something on the list. Appreciate that. What's up, Sweets? Squigs, how you doing? Hope everybody's well. Who did I miss? If I missed anybody, say hi. I'll say hi back. I'm doing my best to keep up, and like I said, maybe I need a Neuralink. Lily in Australia, Celia, Ted in England, how you doing? What's going on? Great call, Eric. Taco Fillions, I see you, buddy. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening. Meow. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. Tonight, we're talking aliens. Hey, aliens, right? However, there's a twist. Is it possible we've already been contacted by some sort of signal that's embedded within humanity itself, and all we need is to come to some consensus conclusion to decode it? I don't know. Some wild ideas here as part of it. I'm calling it, of course, the silence of the gods, final cosmic evolution, and I don't know. Are we alone? Really, one of the most basic premises of the conspiracy realms, and it's always fascinating. It's one of those things, like, you can beat a dead horse, but this is one of those dead horses that just keeps coming back to life. And it's like, it just will not die. Yeah. Dr. David Jacobs, I see there, Taco. Yeah. I don't know. No answers, more questions for me as part of this conversation. Let's do it. Let's get to some calls. Thanks for being patient, guys. 702-957-1037. Hang tight, James. Kelly's waited for a long time too. Let's go to Kelly in Colorado. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? And go right ahead. What you got for us tonight?
Good evening, Michael. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Chilling and doing the thing, man. Welcome to the joint. What do you got?
Well, for me, for your very first question, are we alone? The answer is obviously a definite no. That's an no for sure.
I'm with you.
And the reason why I mean, like the signal part that you're looking for, right? You already know that I'm already into a lot of all the ancient, right? I mean, if you look back in the Sumer, Egypt, India, Mayan, Aztec, Inca, Nazca, all the ancient peoples. I mean, everywhere on this planet, there's ancient buildings, and the techniques they were built with, the mass amounts of bricks or not mortar, but granite that these things are built with. But I'm talking immaculate. I mean, there's a signal there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even the ancient writings from everywhere has it, right? Even him depicted in like paintings, drawings, etchings, carvings. I mean, one of them, like, some people want to say like India, for example, they have the flying vimanas. Another picture where you could find one would be in Egypt, right? It's in the it's called the funerary papyrus of, I'm gonna mess this up, but I'll spell it afterward. I think it's Jedahausen folk, but it's like Jedi, but it's like from Egypt with the D. It's DJEDKHONSOUEFAWKH. In there in the papyrus, right? It's a funerary papyrus, so over the top you'll have what they call jeb and nut, and the nut is where it looks like a lady. She's on her feet and her hands, and it's just the Milky Way. She's like covered in stars, right? But in that papyrus you'll see the Sphinx sitting there, and on the Sphinx there's a little ship sitting on the backside of it, and it looks like it's got the symbol on it, like these things. Looks like it's shiny, like a shiny object. It looks like a little ship, right? It's got little landing gear and everything on it. But they call that I ran across where it was called the coming of Marduk. But there's an example of something like that. I mean, if we're talking about contact, let's say none of that was real and none of it ever happened, and we're just looking for it now, for examples. What I look at is crop circles. I put some in Discord where, a little bit further back. I'm going to go ahead and send this one to you. This is a papyrus I was talking about. But you have like the crop circles where we sent I believe it was on a satellite, though, or a signal that we sent. And, it was like the design was like a little man, where we're from in the universe, what our DNA makeup was, where we at in our solar system, like the third planet from the sun, had all that information. Then there was a reply that was in a crop circle right next to it was a signal, so it was right next to the satellite where the crop was at, and that's where the signal was at. And then also you have other ones with the face, and it actually with the big disc, kind of looks like a gray alien, I would guess, but the disc is all in like ones and zeros, and someone deciphered it, and it just says something like to the fact where you're being deceived. Don't you're going to have some people that come in with saying they're like gifts. It's like a trade off, right? But yeah, that was after like. Go ahead.
Just real quick. So you're talking about the Voyager probe. We put the gold record on there with all that information on it, and then a crop circle appeared that sort of answered that information on it, and was decoded as being a sort of deception aspect of, well, I guess extraterrestrials. So we talked about that in the past quite a lot, but just to reframe it for people that aren't familiar with it, the original Voyager mission had that gold record on it that had basically information about us that was, well, as Frank called it, if you remember this, Kelly, Frank, way back in the day, he said that the people that put that information about us on that record and sent it out into the cosmos were traitors to humanity because they're giving up all of our secrets. Anyway.
Well, it more or less is, you know what I mean? It's inviting everybody. So it wasn't just like you could say, well, we're only looking for the good people, or, the malevolent. We're only looking for malevolent people. They're just, if somebody finds that, they're going to, of course they're going to come looking. I mean, wouldn't you? At least from a distance at first to see what's going on. You can, if you're running around in space with that technology, you're pretty high advanced. Let's just put it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Now, to say that we haven't, I mean, that's ridiculous in my mind, because I mean, the how much life that's out there is astronomical, right? In our galaxy alone, and then how many billions of galaxies there else out there. We're just and even in our galaxy, in our perspective, if you really look at it, we're just crawling. I mean, we're not even probably going to make puberty before this, maybe even, humanity might even just blink off and never even be known, I mean, there's things that we've done in the past as a human race. Maybe that's why people don't want to come talk to us. Why would you want to do that? You know what I mean? People talk about, levels of civilization, but you got to get past the point of everybody wanting to kill everybody on this planet. I mean, it's not that, that we don't have enough. We just can't feed keep feeding the rich. That's the problem. And there's these people that think that they're, I don't know what it is, like these kings and queens. I still can't believe that's even around in my eyes. Not to get off the subject, but, real quick, that's just unbelievable.
Like the King of England or whatever. It's not just there too. It's all over the world. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's still kings and queens all over the place, not just England. You know what I'm saying? But you have Saudi Arabia, you have a lot in the Middle East. There's a lot of that still going on. But I don't know, man. For me, I look at, of course, we're being contacted. We have been being contacted. Even if you go by the ancient Sumerian, yes, like those, not even them. I mean, every ancient civilized race talk about these people that came down, their gods, and started humanity. You know what I mean? All over the planet, and it's just not just one people. I mean, it's taught everywhere. It was, look at this. I mean, if you're looking at dates, and our science is trying to say that coming out of caves, and then next we're building 8-sided pyramids. It's just, really, like that's what the best you can come up with.
Yeah, well,
but
I mean,
to talk about,
I mean, what, the Wright brothers in 1900 whatever it was, and then 50 years later, we're on the moon, bro. So strap in.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Horse and buggy, less than 100 years, we're supposed to be on the moon, right? So how did that happen? You got to look at it. I mean, the technology jump is just, it's absurd to even, is it getting through portals, or is it like, we've talked to people in space, is there deals really going on? There has to be, there's got to be, there's something else going on behind the scene to saying that humanity, for somewhere, we just started coming up with like shooting energy or even information through light, through a little plastic tube, you know what I'm saying? And that's how we get information faster. I mean, like, you even think about that too. Like most communications are all run through underwater cables anyway. I mean, just to talk somebody across the ocean, supposedly it's gonna be instantaneously.
I mean,
really think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the technology that we have, and the way, even like, supposedly you can find a lot of information, even on anti-gravity, I mean, yes, you can come up with that with just using, more like magnetic frequencies, sound, all that stuff can give you some kind of frequency, like, laser beam, just using by a frequency of sound, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if we can, even if we, like human species, we can come up with that, right? Let's just say that. So how far are we really along? I mean, what I look at, not to be some like, I look at all these launches that every country does, let alone SpaceX. Within the last, there was a video that I don't know if you ever seen it, but there was like a reel, right? And it's just like how many launches SpaceX has done since, the beginning of SpaceX. And it's ridiculous. At first it's just here and there, and that's just SpaceX, that's not talking about Blue Origin or NASA or, whatever other country has got a space program out there. And they're always saying what? They're launching satellites. I don't believe there's that many satellites out there, for one. Yeah, I mean, we probably do have some, but I don't believe it's that many. There's no way. It's impossible. I mean, if you're supposed to be seeing satellites rolling through, some people at night, they say they see satellites. That's not really, I don't think it is anyway. That's a different story. Don't want to go down that road.
A whole nother rabbit hole for a whole nother time. Y'all good. Regarding the one of the bizarre parts about tonight is, do you think there was some signal that's been seeded that is here? It's maybe sort of floating around the zeitgeist, and it might be the disclosure movement. It might not be, but do you think that in that what do we say, the Star Trek version of the Prime Directive, this type of thing? Do you think this is any bit real at all? Or do you think this is just humans making human things and kind of shouting them out in the cosmos?
Okay, so I've been studying this ufology for, I don't know, 30 plus 40 years, right? And dealing with different stuff within my life, but you already know about that. But the Prime Directive, right? If there is a Prime Directive, like if there's some kind of, I don't know what they call them right now, the name of them, but like there's a galactic force out there of different races and everything, and you got the Prime Directive. You're not supposed to mess with anybody, blah blah blah, right? We know the story. But obviously, history, like I've been told in Discord, history has proven that nobody's listening to the Prime Directive. Obviously. I mean, if the Sumerian stories are correct, they didn't listen to the Prime Directive, right? If the reptilians were, they didn't listen to the Prime Directive. Because they're obviously all these people here. I mean, they've talked about them. Not just one type of like Anunnaki-type species. You got the reptilians, you got the Greys, you got like people that live underwater. I mean, all that is real, in my eyes, because like through like the way I look at through history is they're telling you the true story of this planet. The people want to call it whatever they want, mythology and blah blah blah, but no, there's a lot of truth in what they're talking about. For one. Okay, but like the Prime Directive, I don't see anybody following it. There isn't nobody following it. And if they was, like even supposedly the story with the Greys, these people came here, they were a dying race, blah blah blah. They want to have our DNA, trying to mix it so their race doesn't die off. And they're super high technology. They're flying through the universe. How would you be a dying race? I mean, I don't really get that one either. That sounds like lies. If those, like, say those stories are true, to me, I'm looking at that as a lie. It's got to be a lie. I mean, you're roaming through this, through the universe, and you're finding, you're going to pick Earth, this little blue dot in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's actually cooked into Stargate SG-1. If you've seen that, they have the what are they called? I can't remember the names. It was Thor was the first one they met, but they were like little gray aliens that looked just like the ones we expect to see. And they had this weird sort of DNA collapse where they were cloning themselves or each other, and then eventually the cloning aspect kind of lost its juice for whatever reason, and so they're on the decline, and they can't. I don't know. It's weird how that sort of folklore, mythology, whatever that is, wherever that came from, it ends up in pop culture. It's so wild, and that's why I talk about this. A lot of ways to look at this, and maybe that part of the pop culture aspect of it is something we're supposed to recognize in ourselves, and then maybe that's first contact when we crack that code. I don't know, just throwing an idea out, but yeah, wild stuff.
Yeah, another thing too, like when you're asking if there's hidden somewhere, a lot of people might be looking for like something like in these ancient buildings, you know what I mean, underground, underneath, everywhere. I'm pretty sure they probably did find something. I'm not saying they didn't, because you had like the SS running around all over the world, and looking for all these ancient places, India, Egypt, else, Sumeria, like in Iraq. I mean, they were looking everywhere. But you know where I think it's at? Personally?
Where's it?
Because they still don't even know. They claim they don't know. It's in DNA, man. Everything's going to be in DNA. If it's a change, there's markers in there. And they already have one, you know what I mean? I think it's like the second DNA, the marker that you have like two DNA markers or something that's like, it's bound to, you know, like it's welded together, you know, that's not even supposed to have happened. Which give us, you know, speech and, you know, higher thought and all that stuff. But, I mean, again, all you have to do is look down in DNA. I think that's why this whole DNA collection started anyway. I mean, they can't be government, so like the government does anyway, they use different corporations. But all these corporations, like I had my aunt one time was asking me, because they were all doing it, right? And they were like, how come you don't do yours? I'm like, you know, they're like, are you afraid of something? You know, just giving me, harass me because, you know, they thought, you know, just give me like, you got kids out there that I don't know about? I'm like, no. I said, I don't want to give my DNA up there. She's like, well, you were in the government anyway. The Navy's got your DNA. I'm like, these things ain't owned by the government. They're owned by corporations, right? You're giving your DNA. And I think 23andMe, they just sold it to some other, like, think BlackRock or something.
China.
But that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's where it's being hidden at. It's in DNA. I mean, DNA is so old. I mean, look at if you're here, then your parents had it been survived, your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, all the way back, right? To even be alive right now. You're thinking about that.
The biblical begets.
So it's going to be in, it's going to, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. The biblical begets, such and such begets, such and such and such and such begets.
Yeah.
But again,
I'm serious.
Yeah,
because,
I'm with you. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, because if you look back at that, you know, that's how you even got here. You know what I'm saying? So it's in DNA. This junk DNA, it ain't junk DNA. They just don't know what, you know, what really to do with it. I mean, even now, like science is now, we find out how much information you can store on DNA. I mean, that's ridiculous in itself. I hear they even got the government, or there's a military outfit that's, you know, probably over here in Colorado, that the computer is running, you know, like storing all information on DNA, human DNA, you know, just replicated. And they're just storing DNA on it because the amount on just 1 gram of DNA is absurd of amount of information you can store on it. Now just think of the whole human body and think of like all the ancestors that you have within you. You got to think about that too. And then all the space dust. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of history here. I mean, the markers are already here. You know, they're like people looking for the wild. All you got to do is look around. The wild's all the way around us. Yeah,
that could be too. So with the DNA stuff and the 23andMe is an interesting one, because I'm with you. I'm like, oh, hell no, you are not getting my source code. I'm sorry. But I mean, unfortunately, we're like leaving our source code everywhere all the time. You drink from a Starbucks cup and throw it in the trash and you just dropped your source code over there. But I'm just saying the weird juxtaposition of the two things. But also with 23andMe, it's wild that I was saying this way back when that first rolled out. You were too. We were talking about this when people were like, it was all the rage. People were buying kits for Christmas and sending them to each other, and they were doing all the things. And like you said, oh, what's up, Kelly? Are you scared? No, I'm just not stupid. I'm just not going to give my entire source code to some company that might one day go out of business and get bought by some other company. Which, and I want to point this out too, that they said very explicitly that they didn't save this data, like that it came through, they ran the process, they sent you your stuff, and then they deleted it. Liars. I said it then too. Liars. Of course they didn't. They were trying to build a database of DNA that they could sell to big pharma eventually and save the world. Right? What could go wrong? About 3 minutes left. Go. What else you got? Dear God.
No, just with that though, man, it's like, you know, you think about all the information they have on everybody. So, you know, again, what are they really looking for though? You know what I'm saying? To me, they're, in my eyes, they're looking for something that's, you know, that's connected to something. You know what I mean? Like, who was it? Oh, there was a guy on, just real quick, there was a guy I seen on, we were watching, it was on one of the platforms, right? But anyway, he was talking about, he was swabbing his horse's mouth, and he sent it in to 23andMe, and it came back that they were saying that the horse was Native American, right? But he's like, this is like 5 different animals he sent it in, and 23andMe is saying that like all these animals are from all over the planet, like they're real human beings. They're not caught on to like there's certain DNA. So is it really real? I mean, so like for example, too, like with, real quick before we end, like my family, right? They were doing theirs. A lot of my family did theirs, right? And they were all trying to match all up against it. I'm like, they're all reading the same. Like, it's because you're Hispanic. Like, if you don't, like, if I would send mine in, mine would be like George Thomas. I'd send it in to see what come up with. You know what I mean? Are they going to say I'm English, white Irish, or are they, because my last name is, Hispanic, they're going to send it in and say, oh yeah, you're Native American, you're part Spanish, like all of them they say. They're almost like the percentage is ridiculous, not just for my family, because yes, we're related, but like even friends, they're all Hispanic, and they're all reading the same, like almost the same percentages. I'm like, man, that ain't even real.
It feels like it. It feels like it. Like I've seen, again, family members, shout out family members that have done it. Thanks for sharing my collective family DNA with the world. You bastards, I told you not to do it. But anyway, yeah. And it's weird that it seems, well, very cookie cutter. Let's call it that. One minute left. Go ahead.
No, that's it, man. That's all I got tonight. But yeah, that's where I would think it'd be in DNA, man. We're looking in, like, trying to look for hidden places, stars maybe, but I mean, it could be hiding in, or even like those crystal skulls. There's a lot of information you can put on crystal. Who knows, man? You got to think about the ancient times.
Absolutely. We'll get back to crystal at some point. I think there's going to be some new information dropping regarding that. Maybe we're setting up the zeitgeist for synchronicities we don't know exist yet, but I'm sure that's coming very soon. You're the best, brother. Thanks for staying up late with us. Thanks for being patient and waiting. Thanks for sharing the fire ideas, and you're the best. Tell Michelle we said hi, okay?
All right, brother, man. You have a good night.
Thanks a lot. You too. You were the best. That's Kelly. You know him, you love him. Again, the first caller we ever had that called back, and he's been friends. We've been friends for years now, going on 7 years. So that's the point. That's the point of doing these conversations, is to talk about wild ideas and consider the possibilities. And Kelly's always on point with all this stuff, because who knows? Who knows? Do you really know? In light of recent news, do you really know that reality itself hasn't been curated to make you believe this or that? Bernays propaganda is still hanging above our heads. 702-957-1037. Phone lines are empty. If anybody wants to jump in here, we got more from James if he's got it. Love to hear your thoughts. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Be right back.
Jungle, machines hum, a digital rumble. Gates of cyber open wide, plug us into cosmic tide. Feeling sparks across the sky, as knowledge flies, we're amplified. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate. In this massive data center dome, eternal truths start to roam. Circuits flicker with endless fire, data streams that never tire. Unified by electric dreams, unlock the truth in silver beams. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate. network mind. Answers buzz from star to core. Knowledge whispers evermore. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate. In realms where the data streams collide, imagination and logic side by side. In a labyrinth of digital names, we transcend our earthly ways. Tapping keys like cosmic tones, spikes become our whispered homes. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate.
Wow, that one properly ended. So some of the AI tunes don't do a proper end and fade all weird and stuff. What's up? Hope everybody's well tonight. Fire call from Kelly and everybody else tonight. Like I said, we're blessed with some amazing friends that can look at the world in a different way, and it's okay. Don't forget, it's okay to be different and to think differently, because this is your world too. You belong here. What's up? Who did I miss? What's up? Don, Joey. What's up? Sweets, Squigs. What's up? Eric, Gaston, Apoc, Matzal. We got Daryl, Kramos, Michael W, Sylvain. I see you guys. Who did I miss? North Vixen. What's up? Hiker, how you doing? What's up? Thanks for pinning the stuff and sharing the links. Troubledfans.com. All the rest of that. Appreciate it very much. Yeah, your horse is 75% Chihuahua. Here's your bill. Says John 5B over on Rumble. Exactly. That's well, the cynical world, corporate world we live in, right? Here we go. Troubled Minds happening right now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, X, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We're broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Regarding the Troubled Minds Radio Network, by the way, if you go to the website, either website, troubledminds.org or troubledminds.net, right on the top, if you can click just listen live. Look, I'm not going to do it. It'll give us a weird feedback, but you just click it, and it's a MP3 radio feed. It comes through live when we're live with Troubled Minds, and it has 24 hours of radio shows. Many of the friends we've talked to tonight are on the network with us. So again, the whole point of this is inspiration, right? Human inspiration. It always goes back to human inspiration. And if you ever wanted to dabble in a radio show or a podcast or this type of stuff, so that's why I'm here. Honestly, that's why I'm here, because guess what? I did too. Back before I had anything, I had some ideas. I thought that, a lot of the space was clogged with nonsense, with politics, with just frustrating ideas that I thought, hey, you know what? I think eventually this will decentralize and we'll be able to sort of democratize intelligence. And in this case, well, we certainly have. And if you guys are interested, you're welcome to be on the thing. And I hope you're inspired to think differently, to maybe create something that you wouldn't have before you found us. And that's why I'm here. That's exactly why I'm here, inspired by other very smart people. And I'm hoping to do the same. Yeah, fire stuff. What do you guys think regarding aliens? Real? Nah, somewhere in between. Have we actually got a signal? I'm talking, of course, the silence of the gods. How come we call out to them constantly and continually, and we only get, well, barely anything back? It's weird, right? It's super weird. James, anything on that or anything else? I know you had that the Star Trek episode you pulled up, but go ahead if you got anything. If not, I got tons of stuff to get to.
Well, just in the episode, everything happened because of a malfunction in this small base observation post that was set up in a mountain, and there was a problem with the power systems, and it led to an explosion in the end that made the base visible to people on this other planet that saw it and had no idea what it was. And these are people that did not have any kind of electronic technology yet. They were still in, they were living in huts, and they had bows and arrows and that kind of a thing. And they saw people using technology to heal themselves, to fix parts of the base, to make each other disappear. They saw people using the transporter to get off the planet. And they saw Picard, the captain of the Enterprise, that came to see what was going on and to minimize, ironic enough, minimize the contamination, the cultural contamination that was caused by this happening. And of course, everything they did in the show went wrong. Every time they tried to minimize things and tell these people, no, you didn't see what you thought you saw. They even did that in the show, which I thought was ironic. You know, how Orwellian is that in a way? And these are the people that are supposed to be the heroes of the show. And in the end, it all came down to these people thinking that Picard was this overseer, this divine, all-powerful being. And this man in the show was so convinced that he wanted to prove it to everyone. And spoiler for a decades-old show. I hate saying that. Spoiler for a show from a few years ago. No, I'm kidding.
James World.
This man shot Picard with a bow and arrow. And of course, he realized when the leader of the village, who already had figured out what was going on, she put her hand on Picard's chest, and when she lifted up her hand, there was blood. There was his blood on her hand. And this other guy from the village that had the sighting realized, that's a person. And of course, everything worked out for Picard. I mean, they healed him and everything. But from then on, there was just an example of how the best of intentions in that situation went terribly wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And back to that Bernays propaganda for a second, that it still wasn't lost on Picard and crew that they could be like, that's not what you saw. The old what is it? The bold-faced lie, which is crazy. And so here we go. There's an old adage, believe nothing you hear and only half that you see. Edgar Allan Poe, 1845. And that's a reminder for us that life is complicated and people would deceive us at every turn. And I'll read it again. Believe nothing you hear and only half that you see. Good time to drop the disclaimer. I'm not sure if I did tonight. If you're here for truth, you're in the wrong place. We're just talking ideas and possibilities as part of this. I don't know. I have no answers, just more questions as part of these conversations. And especially when you talk about aliens and them sort of ascending to a godhood in the Kardashev scale, I think this is where we're headed. I think both science and mysticism come together in this moment and can really inform a lot of different things. Yeah, fire stuff. If you got anything else, James, go ahead.
No, I think that was it for now, but we'll see how the rest of the segment goes here.
Right on. As always, the glue of the show, James, deferring when people are hot, calling in, and then nobody calls in. He's always popping in to help me out. If you want to be part of the show, nobody's on the lines, jump on in here, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Got about 20 minutes left, and we'll wrap this. But the wild part of this, to me, is multifaceted, and that's exactly the idea, is that if, basically, have we been contacted, and is it sort of swirling in that zeitgeist, in the human collective, and are we on the cusp of discovering this? Like, is there some code, as Kelly was saying too, in the DNA or civilization itself, where this maybe the code was seeded 1 million years ago? Maybe contact happened 1 million years ago, and the corner that we turn technologically becomes deciphering that code in the DNA sequence. That's all there. It's all there. It's all ready to go. Again, speculatively. And, many people have suggested this, ancient astronaut theorists say yes, all the rest of that stuff. But, if you consider it in the, in the sci-fi context, there's a lot of stories about this. There's a lot of, again, Stargate, Star Trek we're talking, and I don't know, are we anthropomorphizing too much the ideas? Maybe. But also, as Kelly brought up, the Galactic Federation, does it actually exist? I mean, there's people that say, yeah, it's real. It's actually a thing, and it's something that is, we've been dealing with this, and the leaders of the world, the inner circles of the inner circles are talking about this stuff, very X-Files style, in a dark room with the smoking man and all of those random what is it, MK? No, not MK Ultra. What is it? What's that thing, James? Do you know? The
only other one I know besides Ultra is Often.
No. The
Majestic 12. There we go.
Yeah, Majestic.
We got it.
It came to me. Yeah. Like that type, right? And I don't know. Again, so that's been debunked and rebunked and unbunked and sideways. I don't know. Look, I'm not that guy because I can't verify these things because I wasn't there. Not that that's what you need, but you get the idea. But anyway, back to this. Now, the wild part is that this does fit into a lot of different ways of looking at a new construct of reality, which we always talk about, right? Easy with the bunking. Yeah. Okay. All right. But that's the problem, right? Everybody wants to debunk everything too. Okay. So one sec, hold on. Let me get my bearings here. One moment, please. Let's see where we at. Okay. So a lot of ideas came out of this. As you know, I like to do a free form, get an idea, like a seed idea, which we started with tonight, which was this. So if aliens could detect Earth from their planet, what would they see? Okay. Sort of mirroring ourselves in the techno signature space, and even like aliens with similar technology. And it turns out that they think, again, sort of doing an analysis on this, and this is from SETI.org. I do recommend you go read this stuff if you're into these ideas. But they're basically describing this as, 12,000 light years or something? I mean, that's significant. That's a good chunk of the way across the galaxy. So are we, and have we already been contacted? That's the wild part, right? And look, you can add this to the layers of that quickening. I'm always talking about the quickening. We're talking about, look, Art Bell was talking about the quickening. And also, by the way, how about that as the signal? How about the quickening of the singularity, the technological singularity, the quickening of it in our perception of what's to come soonerish? What did I say, 2032, that asteroid's going to hit us or something? But I digress.
2% chance? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, is it? I think they doubled it. It was like 1.2%. Now it's 2.4% or something, and they upped it again. Anyway, yeah. Like I said, don't roll snake eyes. Shout out to Joey for posting those updates as NASA updates them. Thank you for that in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, now's a good time. TroubledMinds.org, click the Discord link. But back to this whole bit. If aliens are looking at us and we're looking at them, we're looking for them. Similar technologies. That's, I don't know. I feel like it's significant. I feel like it's not as we described it to be in the past, as light years and speed and right. Cause I mean, we're using James Webb and looking way back into the past and whatnot. I don't know. It's weird. So think about it that way. If the actual original signal, the first contact, was some sort of stardust manipulation of us to bring us to this moment, to this technological singularity moment, I can see it a couple ways with that quickening, and the quickening as part of that code built in to wondering what it looks like. I don't know. Like I said, too many always in motion. The future is, says Yoda. So I can see so many ways to kind of take this in my mind, but again, I'm only human too, right? I look, we're a fantastic group, wild ideas flowing through, thinking about all the possibilities, right? However, we're still only human. We're still only collective human. So there are limitations in ideas, in philosophy, in these philosophical constructs. There are limitations because we don't know what an alien philosophy might look like. Anyway, yeah, lots of things. If you're into the ideas that I'm kind of rolling through tonight, there's a better way to do it, is go to the write-up, and it kind of leads you through the whole thought process. I'm more of a rambly mess because I try and riff it as much as possible, so I don't just read from a script the entire time, because that's quite a bit more boring. So anyway, it's in the write-up again. Join the Substack. Follow over there if you have not. It's all on the thing, troubledminds.org. Follow on top. Subscribe to the subscribe to our newsletter on Substack. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Appreciate the call. Let's go to thank you, James. Let's go to Michael W. What's up, brother? Thanks for being cool and chill and listening and staying up late with us. What's on your mind tonight? What do you got?
Hey guys, this is a weird one, isn't it? I mean, it's not a weird one. It's what we talk about all the time, but there's so much going on with this subject of contact and are we alone in the universe? And I guess there's a couple of points I want to hit. I want to talk about physics and how physics limits these things and the scale of the universe in relation to that. Everybody hearing me okay?
Loud and clear. You sound great.
Okay, so the universe is enormous. I mean, we cannot, as humans, I don't think we're capable of grasping, at least I am not capable of grasping how freakishly enormous the universe is. If you think about the number of worlds that we can see in our observable universe, and I've noticed over the last 10 years, they started using the word observable universe, not universe, but observable universe, which kind of clued me in to the fact that they realized that what they thought was the edge was just as far as we can see, and that it's bigger than that. They just can't see farther than that. And so think about the galaxy that we live in. We live on a planet, in a solar system, in a galaxy, in a universe. And our galaxy is the Milky Way, and it's colliding with the Andromeda galaxy right now. And our galaxy is, I try to remember all these facts, but it's something like 200 million light years across or something like that. And there are more stars in our galaxy than there are grains of sand on all the beaches. And I don't know, you hear these weird things that people say.
As big
like
as it
that.
gets. Yeah, I'm with you. It's hard to wrap your mind around the math. The pure mathematics of it is mind-boggling. So, like I said, once they put letters in my numbers, I checked out. I was like, no thanks. I was like, nope, not doing this.
Algebra, that cursed algebra.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not a mathematician, but no problem. Go ahead.
So it's so big. It's so incredibly big. It is impossible. Like, if life developed on this planet that we call home, Earth, life developed here somehow. And nobody knows how, really. We know that it started out as like amino acids in a puddle on the beach. And there was actually a really cool Star Trek episode where they animated the genesis of life on Earth. Remember the character Q? He's that magical, godlike character who can snap his fingers, and all of a sudden you're in his universe, and he's controlling everything. And he did that once. He snapped his fingers, and he's like, "Look, Picard, life is happening right now on Earth." And Picard looks down, and he's on this volcanic planet, and there's a puddle of goo at his feet. And they made this kind of cool looking little thing where it was supposed to look like chemicals were coming to life, and supposedly that happened on this planet. And if that did happen randomly on this planet, there are so many other planets just in our galaxy that it has to have happened a gajillion times, right? Just in our galaxy, it has to have happened many times if that's how it happened here, right? And our galaxy is one galaxy in the midst of an entire planet's worth of grains of sand on all the beaches on the entire planet. There are that many galaxies. So these numbers become infinite. So the possibility of life becomes infinite. And there are physicists who talk about how this is so infinite that just in our universe, there's another Mike. I'm talking about me, Mike White. who has done all the same things that stupid Mike White has done on Earth. And there's another Michael Strange. And there's another Jay Winch. And there's another Herschel. And there's another Sweets. And there's another all of these things who have done all the exact same things. Down to the number of hairs that we have on our head. There's like physicists talk about how that's how massive just our one universe is. And then they say that there are an infinite number of universes. And then it gets kind of fuzzy whether they're talking about universes or dimensions and all that stuff. And then there's this idea of how physics has happened over the past 100 years. We started with Newtonian physics. I guess that's more than 100 years. But we started with Newtonian physics, and we thought we understood gravity and how the universe works. We were just beginning to understand what a universe is, but then Einstein was born and did this. I mean, in my opinion, Einstein is sort of like on the same caliber as characters like Jesus or Buddha, as far as how much he impacted humanity. And he said, wait, no, things are crazy. And he came up with his theory of relativity, and he taught us about the speed of light. And then we developed this idea that, wait, so there's like a speed limit. Like nothing can, if you travel faster than 186,000 miles per second, you turn into a beam of light. You transition from matter to energy. And it is not possible to move faster than that fast. And then we discovered that we are so far apart from all those other grains of sand that it is impossible for us to travel at that rate of speed to those other grains of sand and get there even in 100 lifetimes. You know, if we figure out how to make a giant spaceship that can support an ecosystem of life, that can keep a society alive on board itself for 100 lifetimes, we're still going to struggle to reach another star system.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
Now,
real quick.
Now, what are we?
Pin the thought. I want to invoke Einstein because I had it queued whether you were going to do it or not, and you did. Also, regarding infinity, Einstein also said this famously: two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. Not sure about the universe. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. So what do we do with all this information, right? So like we don't want to be alone. No matter how, like, when you think about the scale of the universe, the Earth starts to feel kind of small. I get claustrophobic thinking about being confined to Earth when I think about how big the universe is. and just the fact that my soul is here, alive, and oh my God, I'm alive. What do I do with all this information? And so we think about the possibility of other life forms. And, all these things tell us. Now, we also have to think about quantum physics and how they're discovering that even though it's impossible for us to travel these distances, there can be pieces of matter that are quantumly, they call it quantum entanglement, right? That they are somehow connected over these vast distances and that the distance doesn't matter. And part of me thinks, wait, were humans supposed to discover that? Like, that seems to somehow violate the speed limit, the cosmic speed limit of 186,000 miles per second, And so when we think about all these things and how impossible it is for, even if there are, it's impossible for there not to be life in a billion jillion places out there. But it's also impossible for us to get to each other. Even if we broadcast radio signals to each other, hey, I'm from Earth, I want to communicate with you. It's going to take a billion jillion years. And that entire civilization that we're sending that to is going to live and die before that signal even gets there, even though it's traveling at the speed of light. So what do we do with all this?
Yeah.
And what I think, what this tells me is that it's entirely possible that this is where simulation theory comes in. And that this thing that we live in that doesn't make sense, that seems to have these limits that we can't surpass, is something that was constructed, and I was sent here to go through this crazy, emotional, empathetic Earth school and learn how to behave before I'm allowed to go into a place where all of these weird, vast distances and cosmic space limits don't exist. You know, before my silly human emotional recklessness spreads like a disease when if I'm not confined to this tiny planet, infinitely small planet. And that's kind of how I think about these things. Sorry, that was kind of a crazy rant, but
what are you talking about?
I think I summed it all up.
What are you talking about? That was fire. And you're absolutely right in my opinion. And that's the point. So I have an answer to your question speculatively. Okay. You said, what do we do with all this?
Yes.
My answer for me, because I don't answer for anybody else, I answer for me.
Right.
What we do with all this is the best we can. And here we are, brother, doing the best we can. And just keep that mindset
exactly
on a daily basis, one foot in front of the other. But don't let your mind, again, keep an open mind, not so open that your brain falls out, all the rest of that stuff. Don't forget what Einstein said. He said the same thing, right? Two things are infinite: human stupidity in the universe. And I'm also not sure about the universe. I mean, we again, discernment is all things. And of course, when we're moving into this, the quickening, as I keep calling this, and this eventual technological singularity, I think that's going to be our superpower, our intuition and our discernment of all of these things as they develop, being able to kind of pick and choose which things are most relevant. And I don't know. It's complicated. But recognize, and I know you know this, and I know you appreciate it. That's the whole point of this space, is to get together and talk about these ideas, because, like I said, this is not water cooler talk. They'll fire you, kick you out of the office if you do this stuff at work. But water coolest talk. Shout out Night Stalker. He'd call it the water coolest talk, and that's really the idea. Yeah, that's really the idea. Yeah. What else you got? Go ahead, sir.
That's about it. I feel like when I think about all these things that I've talked about, and just the mind-blowing infinite nature of reality, what I always come back to is that something tells me that the whole point of all of this, our entire reality, what we call the known universe, the entire point of it is for us to come here and learn about something that has to do with love and empathy, and to figure out what it is to be alive, and to think about how, things hurt me and that must hurt that person too. And when I do this thing, it affects that person in this way. And love, to me, I think is, and I'm relatively sober right now when I'm talking about this, I think love is an energy. I think it's a form of energy, and I think it's what we're supposed to learn about. And I think that's why we're here. And that's it.
Well said. Hey, that's it is plenty, because you slayed it. Fire stuff. Always a pleasure, brother. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. Thanks for caring. And thanks for being you.
Thank you. I love you guys. Have a good night.
You too. You're the best. That's Michael W. Go again. He's active on the Discord. He's over there listening on the Discord. He's commenting and chatting in the Discord. He's calling into the show. Look, this is what I'm saying. There are places in the cosmos where you can find extraordinary people. troubledminds.org, click the Discord link. Like I said, the internet is a cesspool. And who I think when Herschel brought it up, he was talking about the human sort of the ping pong balls bouncing all over the place, and the wars and all the ridiculous stuff humans do. And I wanted to make the quip. I don't like to interrupt you guys, but sometimes it has to come out. I wanted to make the quip. Yeah, I've been on Reddit. Shout out Reddit. What the F Reddit? James, anything to add before we wrap this?
Just two things. It's amazing how things can be one thing and another thing at the same time. Because my gosh, most of the material that I find for I'm going to be rebranding my experiences shows, sort of for a shorter title. A lot of it comes from Reddit. Actually, most of it comes from Reddit. So it's funny how two things can be true at the same time, even though they're completely different things. That was the first thing. Other thing is, thank you for having me on as always, and mentioning my show and everything that I do. I want to, as always, give a shout out to Jen, the Arcane Observer. Has her own channel, but also has been on my show as a co-host since December. We've been doing shows on the weekends, so thank you for letting me mention all those things and mentioning them yourselves at times and let me be on the show.
You're the best. Appreciate you very much.
Oh, great calls from everyone as well. Sorry.
You're good. Indeed. And that's exactly the point. Like I said, the dream in the beginning of this was to get dreamers together, to decouple from reality in a conceptual space and talk about possibilities. Like I said, it's hard. It's a lot of grind. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of just showing up and doing the thing. But it's also a good lesson that if you manifest an idea and stick with it, dreams can come true. And as I always say, and I mean it, for me, it's a dream come true. Look at all these incredible people that think about these ideas sort of in that conceptual framework of what if. Like I said, you talk about this at work, you're going to get fired. You're just going to get fired. You're going to get blacklisted, black sheep of the family, all the rest of this stuff. Anyway, I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you. Thank you for helping in all the ways. And if you help one iota of this show, spread the word, whatever. You have some social media to share, you have projects you're working on, I want to add you to this list, okay? troubledminds.org/friends. It's an in list, not an out list. You belong on this list. The reason we moved it from, we had a list that was, 6 or 8 or 10 people and just kept growing and growing on the show write-ups. And the only way to combat that, meeting amazing people, is to make a whole webpage dedicated to our amazing friends. troubledminds.org/friends. Please, please, please follow these amazing folks that have been part of this, that have helped not just build this, that have built ideas selflessly, putting their dogmas aside, putting their biases to the corner to talk about wild ideas. Like I said, it's not a frivolous thing. It's not. We have experiencers that call into this. We have philosophers. We have the entire spectrum of dreamers. And the whole point is to talk to dreamers about these ideas. If you should be on this list, just let me know. There's a lot of amazing people. Please spend some time going through this list. Follow these folks. troubledminds.org/friends. Like I said, it's been a dream come true for me. So thank you for being part of this. If you want to help Troubled Minds directly, click the support page, troubledminds.org or troubledminds.net. Click support. There's Spreaker, Ko-Fi, Patreon, Rockfin, Buy Me a Coffee. The Troubled Fan Shop, you can buy merch. There's the hats, the shirts, hoodies, all the stuff. Please go check that out if you're into it. Wear the gear. Show it off out there and let people know a conversation's happening where we will not tell you who to vote for. That's it. Everybody else is doing that. This is not that. That's it. As we finish, it goes exactly like this. Be sure, be strong, be true. Yes, I ripped that off. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.